Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 31 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great, and this week we was supposed to drop the Jason Ashton podcast, but we ended up talking for 2 hours and 20 minutes just about the Nationals, so instead of giving you guys a 5.5 hour podcast, we're just gonna do Nationals recap this week, and with the other segments of the podcast, because the Nationals was pretty cool this week. So yeah, good stuff. First, I'd like to say thank you to all of our listeners and our supporters from around the world. Without you guys, we couldn't get this done. Unfortunately, we had a giveaway this weekend, and nobody guessed the right answer because Maifield, everybody had Maifield in their picks pretty much, and he made the main. So we didn't get to give away the skateboard deck, but I will give away a car stand to all. Well, we're going to spin the wheel tomorrow, and those who entered in the competition will get a chance to win a car stand. So if you enter the competition, you will get a chance to win the car stand. We will try to give the skateboard deck away at the Euros coming up in a few weeks, 2 weeks, I think it is. So we will give it away. Just pay attention and get to watch the Euros, get to watch some awesome racing, and it will be great. I would like to say thank you to all of our sponsors: AssaultRC.com, Techno RC, Bipolar Designs. Check out Jason Darlin down there in El Paso to get your all your decal needs, your wraps and everything customized to your paint jobs. BK Servos, Bert Kammermere. I think that's how you say his last name. Check out BK Hobbies. Enter in the no name and you get 15% off your order. They got some pretty nice servos they're mostly a helicopter company, but they have some surface servos that will do for your 8 scale and 10 scale needs. Obviously, don't forget Assault RC. Go to assaultrc.com, type in Lefty19, and you get 10% off your order. And, well, we don't have a coupon code for Techno, but thank you, Techno, for coming on and supporting the Grassroots Racer Spotlight, as well as Fast Race. Go to fastraceshop.com, type in Lefty 2019, and you get 10% off your order there. Thank you to all of the people that support us. We can't do it without you, especially our Patreons. If you want to support the podcast a little bit more, you can go to patreon.com/thequagrain. Every little bit helps. I have some Assault RC tool stands that I'm going to give away on the Patreon page. We're probably going to spin the wheel, as well as a tool stand coming up. Car stand. So thank you to all the patrons. Thank you all to all the No Name RC squad from around the world for all your support. And a special thanks to Beach RC, JQ Racing USA, Branch Densford. He's been very supportive of this podcast from the very beginning. We can't do it without you. Model Tune over there in England, Andrew Rennick, and Donuts RC of JQ Racing Europe. And thank you to all the JQ Racing guys. Sorry, my JQ Racing family from around the world. I see you guys are racing, putting in work this week. We had a nice team at the Nationals. They did well. Congratulations to Ashton and Cody Watson. They both made the 8th final. Congratulations to Jeff Pfeiffer, Lico, Jason Stubbs, Emilio, Julius. Who else was there? Ashton Abdul, Cody Watson. I'm probably missing somebody. Who am I missing? Let me bring up the picture and I'll know. But we had a team there for the second year in a row. Last year we had a team. This year we had a team. So I'm super proud of that. Yes, we want to get. We're climbing. We're going to get there one day where we're going to have we're going to have a driver that can do this. That's what matters at the end of the day. So we're looking forward to that. So Good stuff. And of course, Brent Densford went there, and my good buddy Jalen, who got the record for doing the most donuts in one lap at the Nationals. Congratulations to all you guys. Cody, Jason, and Emilio participated in the under 15 race, which was good. Congratulations to CJ for winning that. I think Cody finished 8th, Emilio 10th or 11th, and Jason 12th. So congratulations, guys. I know for Jason and a few guys, it was their first Nationals. It's a very trying race. The Nationals, man, it's the dream-shattering race. That's where you find out where you're really at compared to everybody else. Congratulations to Spencer Rivkin for winning the Nationals in a dominating performance. Congratulations to him, Associated, and J Concepts. Great job by Rivkin. It was a dominating performance. Congratulations to Cav, who came in second, and Lutz of Agama, Nemo Racing. A great performance from him all weekend. One of the best guys in RC. Ryan Maifield, congratulations to you. You won Truggy. Unfortunately, you didn't make it into the final. Again, it was a bummer because we all think that it would have been a great race if you had been there. But that's how racing goes at these Nationals. You know, you have to race. Everybody has to race to get in. So congratulations to Maifield. You know what? I think it was Maifield, Lutz, Rivkin who won the truck. I can't remember. I have to go look at it. I know I should have all this stuff, but I don't. So let me bring in Joseph here because he's actually on the other line and I'm waiting for it to come in. Let me bring in Joseph because we have to talk about our picks real quick. And there's a little bit of news that we have to talk about that happened as well this week. So, hey, Joseph, where are you? Where's this guy? He's always late. What a knobhead. Joseph, where are you?
What?
Man.
I was busy.
Yeah, busy doing what?
I was peeing.
Well, that's a little bit too TMI. Too much information, buddy. I heard you're building an e-buggy, they say.
Yeah.
Huh.
Finally.
Yeah. What is that for?
Pictures.
Yes. The new e-buggy should be dropping soon. Good stuff. I know because I need it to drop soon because everybody's asking me about it.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. All right. So, Joseph, before we get into our picks, let's just go. We pre-recorded the Nationals recap yesterday with Jeffrey, myself, you and Joe Zaier from Savage Thoughts. You actually had to drop out because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning in Finland and your phone ran out of power. As usual, you don't have a USB. So it was like ended up being a almost 2.5 hour talk about the Nationals. So
yeah, man.
We're not going to include the Jason Ashton interview this weekend. We'll save it for next week. And we'll just do this podcast as normal. But we have to talk about our little bet and our pick. Can you stop whatever you're doing, please? Can you just sit
I'm just
still?
packing here.
You always got to make all this noise all the time, man. Can't you just be respectful and sit down and...
Dude, I'm busy. Okay, so who did we pick?
No. Before we get into that, we have 2 news items that kind of came across this week.
Okay.
First is...
What happened?
Zach Rogers has stepped down from being Kyosho team manager, which I knew was going to happen because I heard about this a few weeks ago. And...
You're so cool.
Yeah, I think he's kind of focused on real life, his wallet business, and he's going to work for his dad. I don't know what this means for Kyosho in America because they were just growing. You know, they had a strong team at Silver State. Last race I went to, there was a bunch of guys there.
They did?
Yeah, they did, actually. And, yeah, they didn't have anybody in the final at the Nationals this year.
Yeah.
I mean, the only person that could have made the finals was CJ. They didn't really have a big presence there. I don't know what this means for Kyosho America.
Well, I mean, Kyosho's scaling down their racing. Who does Kyosho have that they pay right now, anywhere in the world? I don't think they pay CJ.
No, I don't know.
I doubt it.
How about Mick and
who in Europe?
Figueredo? No, I don't. Maybe he gets something.
I don't think they pay.
Bertone?
Maybe travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they pay travel to those guys. So they have Berton and Figueredo. That's it.
Yeah.
They don't really scaling back the racing stuff.
Yeah,
It's owned by a bank, so
it seems that way, man. I think
racing doesn't really make financial sense.
not when you sell sailboats and airplanes and all these RTR stuff that people buy. So
so I'm not surprised he left. Really, it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the future.
Yes, and probably the immediate future, because it's, they were just. I mean, I'm not saying they stopped growing, but they were just seem to be growing, like I said, and compared to what they were like at DNC last year and then DNC this year. It was a growth spurt. So I think Zach was very instrumental in that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And speaking of Kyosho, Jessica Paulson has left Kyosho, and she's been with Kyosho forever.
Yeah.
So
I saw that too.
She's going to Schumacher for 10 scale cars. And she will test 8 scale cars until she finds what she likes.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? She's been Kyosho loyal forever, and she pretty much said in her post, "We don't like the new car." So
yeah, I saw that too.
I was like, wow, that's pretty straight up. And
that's very Scandinavian of them.
Yeah, well, you would know.
You just tell it like it is.
You are a Scandinavian. You would know.
Yeah, I mean, the new car is more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see how some people wouldn't like that. And I don't know, probably trying to get somewhere like Mugen or something like that. So
we shall see.
I assume.
I mean, honestly, I really would like to see her and Rhonda Drake go at it, because I think they're the two fastest females in 8 scale. Rhonda being older, but she's very aggressive, and Jessica's more calculated. Like, if you watch her race, she kind of doesn't take much chances. She kind of hits her lines. The
How
race.
did she do at DNC?
But she ran pro, and I think she just wasn't around.
What did Ronda run?
Oh, Ronda, I think she runs open and 40 plus.
Oh, okay.
But two completely different driving styles. I'd love to see them go at it, man. I really would. I think that would be good to see Ronda, the older veteran of female racing, who's very aggressive, and Jessica, the young girl coming up, who's more like a robot, hitting the same lines over and over. Who will win?
Yeah.
I would love to see that race. I think we need to make that happen someday, somehow. Ronda versus Jessica, because I don't really know any other 8 scale female drivers that are on their level. Maybe the girl Katie from the Carolinas. She's getting better. She's doing good. She went to the Nationals too. She has a podcast too called Race Like a Girl. So if you guys want to check that out, go check it out. So
everyone has a podcast now.
Yeah, but they've had theirs. She's had hers for a while now. So, and it's all female and it's pretty good. So, and she's putting in work. She's getting better as well. Her and her husband race a lot. I don't know. We need to see. It'd be great to see who's the fastest female 8 scale racer. I think Ronda's still the top female racer, because she definitely puts in a lot of work. And but I think Jessica can do it. I think because she's pretty good too. Anyway, that's the two major news announcements. Oh, well, we can talk real quick about the Euro contest. That's a race you used to go to all the time.
Yep.
It changed venue. Why did it change venue?
Because of some new laws in Italy. It's harder to organize events.
But it happened in Italy. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand.
I know there are just more requirements for what you need to do to organize an event, and then if you don't do it, if someone were to, for example, complain about the event, then if they come to check,
right, I got you.
Then you're in trouble, and you have to pay fines and all that stuff. So.
Okay, well, it just didn't seem to have the normal. Well, obviously the Nats was one. Congratulations, Robert Battier won that, so congratulations to him. I tried to follow it. I tried to watch the video earlier. It wasn't the best coverage, so I kind of zoned out of it.
There was no Neo Buggy and no JQ Racing, so I think that's it.
Oh, gosh. Well, there was Scott and those guys went, but not the whole JQ Racing team. So
yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations to Badier. Congratulations to Mugen. Hot Race. Hot Race is pretty happy about that. They done pretty well. Okay, so the Nationals this weekend. We go into enough detail about that in the recap, but we just want to recap Joseph and I's picks for this week and how Joseph owes me an air condition. No.
Yeah, right.
You do, because I went back and listened to the bet, and the bet was you get me an air conditioner, I give you peace and quiet for a week.
What?
Yes, I said
How
that.
is that a bet? You just made that up.
No, I didn't. Now you're trying to weasel your way out of the bet.
No,
Yes,
I would
you are.
never. You give me a week's quiet. What does that mean?
But I don't bother
you. Don't complain for a week?
Yeah, I don't complain about your
That's the
Facebook.
bet?
I don't complain about your Facebook posts. I don't complain about
How
nothing.
can you complain about my Facebook posts when I'm blocked?
Well, this is
I'm off Facebook.
before you got banned.
I definitely didn't agree.
I don't.
With
Hey,
bullshit.
All the listeners
like
heard all the listeners heard it. So you owe me an AC
A bet
now.
is fine, but then it has to be a real bet.
It was a real bet.
No, it wasn't. Because you wouldn't agree to anything.
I did. I said Drake would beat. Said Drake would beat Easton, and we said we'll bet an AC. And I said, okay, if I win, you buy me an AC. And you say, well, what if I win? I got an AC. He says, no, you don't need an AC in Finland. I said, I give you a week's peace and quiet where you can do whatever you want.
Right. That's an awesome bet.
Yeah, it is, because then you get to get your little endorphins going by trolling people on Facebook. So.
Oh, okay.
You owe me.
I can't do that.
No, now you can't do it
Otherwise.
because you can't do it because you got banned. 30 days peace and quiet for me.
So you get 30 days and you get an AC. That seems unfair.
I really need the AC, dude. Like, I'm sitting here now. It's 9:20 in the morning on a Wednesday, and I'm sweating. I know I'm fat, but this is ridiculous. All right.
Your mom's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not what your mom said last night. And stop with the mom jokes. It's rude. It was my mother's birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, mother. All right.
Does she listen to the podcast so she can hear your voice?
No, she doesn't listen to it. My cousin does back home, though. He listens to a lot of podcasts. So, good stuff. All right. So, our picks were as follows. I picked Fenn, Lutz, Maifield, Ogden as my dark horse. You picked Tessman.
So how did that work out for you?
Well, we talked about this in the recap. Fenn TQ'd and failed. Lutz came third. Maifield didn't make the main. So everybody who picked Maifield flopped. Ogden.
Pretty much everyone picked Maifield.
Yeah, Ogden came last. So my dark horse was just done. You picked Tessman, Lutz, Maifield. So but you picked Rivkin as your dark horse.
There we go. So I get 1 point.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So Tessman had the fuel issue. Maifield didn't make the main. Lutz, even though he flamed 2 times, still came third. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. We then went and said picks to win.
Who can win?
We both agreed that Lutz can win. I thought he was a very strong favorite.
And he could have.
Yes, I thought he was a strong favorite. You kind of didn't, but then you kind of said, all right. But I think he can definitely win.
Yep.
Fenn, I thought he can win. You obviously disagreed.
Yeah, and was right.
Yes. Tessman, you thought he was going to win it. I said no. I said you couldn't count him out, but I just didn't see it happening, and it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Tebow, we both agreed that he could win this, but obviously he didn't. Cavallari, we both agreed he would be near the top, but he couldn't win this. Well,
I think we were wrong on that one. He could have won easily. Well, I mean, just imagine Rivkin has a couple of bad mistakes, something like, he was, I mean, when you finish second, you can win.
Very true. Very true.
So he overperformed, I think.
Out of it,
because it was a 10 scale track.
I didn't even have him come in second or top 3, to be honest with you. So,
No, I thought he would be like where Tebow was.
Yeah. And we said Rivkin, and we both said, why not? And yeah, he won it, dude. And it's awesome. He was super emotional afterwards, too. I get it, man. Trying to get that monkey off your back. winning.
Well, yeah, he wins the Nationals, then he doesn't really do anything, doesn't even make mains and stuff. And then he wins the Nationals. So
Yeah. All right.
Just need to race more at Thornhill, and he'll be good.
Oh, God. And Cole Ogden, you was correct. Absolutely no. It's too bad, Cole. I had you.
What did I say?
You said no way, and I was like, yes. So.
Yeah, no way.
I'm not picking Fend anymore. That's over.
Fend is like James Stewart.
Yeah, he is. Exactly how he is.
Yeah, but instead of crashing, he flames out or breaks a servo or something stupid.
All right. Well, we're not going to beat this dead horse anymore because we talk about it for 2 hours later in this podcast. Let's get on to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment.
Woohoo!
You are now locked in to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Check out AssaultRC.com for the latest products for all your performance RC needs. Featuring the best lubes and specialty tools on the market. Use promo code LEFTY19 at checkout for 10% off your entire order at AssaultRC.com.
Welcome to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. This is the segment of the podcast dedicated to all the viewers' questions about setup. We usually get Joseph, Max, or somebody who is pretty good at setup on her to talk and answer your questions. This week, I actually don't have any questions, so you guys got to send some more in. But I do have a question that I want to talk to Joseph about, something that I feel very strongly about, and some people do too, is, here's what I want to know, Joseph. Can you learn from somebody who isn't as fast as you? Can you learn setup questions and how cars work from somebody that may not be as fast as you on the track?
Yeah, you can. I think that's what someone often misses. I mean, think of it this way. So all the world's best drivers, do you think they can't learn anything from anyone because they are the fastest drivers in the world? Like Ronefal can't ask anyone for anything regarding setup. He just has to figure everything out for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe ask Ongaro or Maifield. Doesn't work like that. Like Rivkin wins the Nationals, you think? Because Saxton isn't as fast as Rivkin, then Saxton can't say anything.
No, of course
he just,
not.
Cleans his tires and can't say anything about, maybe we should try this or try that.
Yeah, it's about experience.
Of course, anyone can understand and know about setup. There can be the local,
hot shoe
active racer who maybe goes to the Nationals and finishes in 150th place. He might still know a lot about setup, and his car might be awesome. He prepares it well, knows what to do in what conditions. He's just not a very good driver. But he could take some, young kid's car and dial it in, and they could do a lot better with his help than without his help. So it's not really about how fast you are as a driver. That doesn't really determine how much you know about setup. So
yeah, I think a lot of people get confused. I remember in one of your Facebook lives, you said how you tried to copy Cavallari's setup, and it was just too fast for you. Like you couldn't handle it, so you went and tweaked it to your own.
Yeah, I think 10 scale.
Yeah, in 10 scale. And I think people think just because they're a pro that they have to copy their setup. But what they don't understand is they don't have the skills of that professional guy.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. So there are two mistakes people tend to make. So one, they think they can only listen to someone who's faster than them to learn about setup. And that's not true. That's wrong. And also, they think they have to run the setup of someone that's faster than them. So both those things are false. It doesn't work that way. But I think people just don't have the confidence or self-confidence, I think, to do the right thing, to objectively look at the facts and make up their own mind. They're just cheap. They're like, this guy's fast, so I'm going to trust everything this guy does. That's how they think.
What would you say to somebody who thinks like that? How would you change their mind? Like, I know there's lots of older guys, maybe not even older guys, just guys there's guys out there that just love to wrench on cars and understand setup. And I know there are guys out there that can look at cars and see what it needs. I can see it, and I've watched you do it. I watched Dagani do it. I have my good friend Alex. He's here in the DR. That guy, he's like, if I was ever a pro driver, which would never happen, he would be my mechanic because he's so good at seeing that type of stuff and knowing what a car needs and all that type of stuff. And he loves it. Like, he'll just, can I change this on your car? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. You know, what would you suggest to somebody who thinks that way?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to change someone's mind that way because what they have to do is they have to realize it for themselves. They have to kind of snap out of it and look at the facts. Look objectively at the facts. And when you just follow blindly and you don't think for yourself, then, you know, nothing I can say or you can say will change that. They have to kind of realize it for themselves.
Well,
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't either, man. I think I was told
you can literally. I mean, this has happened actually. I have actually helped someone. This was also in 10th scale. So I noticed, okay, this works really well. I helped someone, like a sort of higher level open class driver, and the setup First, I asked them multiple times to try it, and they wouldn't try it. They only run what Cavalieri runs, you know, what Rivkin runs. Like, this is the setup, you know. So they wouldn't try this other setup. Finally, they try it, and they actually do better with it. But then when they go to a race, they go back to that other setup because they like, well, you know, yeah, the other setup actually felt good, and they did better with it, but they don't trust it for the race. I mean, what can you do?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just know that I try to listen to everybody. I was told once when I started working in the tunnels is never tell an older guy who's been in this for 20 plus years, you know something. Like, never say, oh, I know that. Because that person would never teach you, never talk to you again. You know what I mean? So I try to listen to everybody, and even people that are younger than me or been in this less time than me, I listen to them because you never know what knowledge you'll pick up from somebody. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's a lot of guys out there in RC that are very knowledgeable and want to share their knowledge with people, but they also get to the point where they're like, why waste my time if they're not going to listen?
Yeah, that's true. But then there's also the other side of the coin, which some people, they think they know, but they don't, because they just assume. So they'll say, "Oh, this is better.
Yeah,
this works better. You should do this." But they don't actually know. They are basing their sort of their belief and their knowledge on assumptions, because they don't test things properly, or maybe they aren't good enough drivers to actually determine for themselves. So they've just read it somewhere or heard someone else has said it. And so there's that side too. Everyone that says they know setup and understand setup don't really. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
that too.
I'm always learning something when I listen to you and Dagani talk. Like even the other day when he was commenting on your pipe and your fuel nipple and all that type of stuff. And I was like, man, I wouldn't even have thought of that. But it all makes sense. So. Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge out there, man, and people need to listen. And then you decipher what's good and what's bad for yourself. If someone's telling you, hey, I've done this on this car and at this track, you might want to try that, then you should probably listen to them. I don't know. But that's what I say to people. It's like life. You never stop learning. So you always got to listen and learn and define what you think is useful to you and whatnot.
I don't know. I'm going to stop learning soon. I think I've learned enough.
See, and that's
I don't want to learn anymore.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, that's what we have for our Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. I will pin this post up to the top of the Facebook page so we can get some more questions. I know you guys have some setup questions. I know everybody's racing. Thank you to Assault RC for coming on board and sponsoring this segment. Remember, guys, go to assaultrc.com. type in Lefty19 and get 10% off your order. All right, Joseph.
Are you going into your interview now?
Yes, I am going into my
Because
interview.
I want to go.
All right.
I'm doing my late night practice.
Well,
I go to the track at 9 p.m. 8 to 9 p.m. I go to the track. I water the track one time, then it stays nice and damp. Mm-hmm. And I drive until like 11 p.m. or so.
What time does it get dark there?
Like after midnight. Okay. But 11, the sun is below the horizon. You can still drive, you can still see, but it changes. It gets a bit kind of dusk, so I stop.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, man.
All righty. Well, go to the track, and I'll talk to you later on.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you.
You are entering the Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight. The part of the podcast that gives the listeners a platform to talk about RC. Brought to you by Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products.
So hey everybody, welcome to the Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight. This is the part of the podcast that's dedicated to all you guys out there racing on the weekends and throughout the week. The guys that are working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 and 5 to 9, and can't wait for the weekend to pull some trigger. This is the segment for you. This is your time to shine. This is your platform. We want to talk to you. We want to hear about your racing. We want to hear if something's you want to see change in RC, something you want to see done different. Let us know. So this is also a worldwide thing, and I'm glad that I'm getting more international racers. So this week, all the way from Sao Paulo, Brazil, is Eduardo Rossi. Bom dia, Eduardo. How are you?
How are you, Keenan? Bom dia.
I'm fine, man. Just chilling. How's things down there in Sao Paulo?
Good, good. Today's very sunny here. Mm-hmm. Everything's great here.
Yeah. I've been following the race scene in South America for a while now. That's kind of where I started with JQ Racing. So I do know a bit about the racing going on there. I know I talked to a few guys in Brazil, mostly Thomas. He's over in Rio de Janeiro. But you guys have some really nice tracks down there in Brazil.
Yes. In Brazil, we have Davi, he's a track builder. And he does the majority of the tracks nowadays here. And he's very talented, and the tracks are awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen, he does a lot of tracks all around South America. And this guy he's up there with Joey, Bobby Moore. I will put him in with those guys. That's how good his tracks are. Really, like, exceptionally good track builder.
Yes, he did all the South American championship tracks, and he's doing tracks in Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, everywhere. Yeah,
good stuff. I do know, I think the biggest market for RC is in Brazil and in Argentina. I don't know, maybe Argentina slowed down a little bit, but I know Brazil racing is still alive and growing because you have a lot of people in Sao Paulo, and then you have Rio de Janeiro, which races, right?
Yes, today in Brazil, the largest market is Sao Paulo, the state of Sao Paulo.
Okay.
And also in the south of Brazil, in other states, Paraná, Rio Grande do Sul, also there's a good scene. Rio de Janeiro was large. Now it's slowed down a bit, but it's still, there are some racers there also.
Okay. Good stuff. So tell us, Eduardo, how long have you been racing for, and how did you get started?
Yes, I started in 1997.
Okay.
I was in Miami for vacation, and a friend of mine, he had RC cars, and he told me, let's go to this hobby store. It was called Orange Blossom. Probably you know it.
In Florida.
Yeah, in Miami. It was very famous.
Yeah.
Orange Blossom Hobby.
I remember that.
Yes. And then we went there, and I was like, it was full of cars and trains, boats, everything. It was huge. And I got a RC10 GT. It was my first RC
truck.
car.
The
Yeah,
truck,
the
right?
truck, the gas truck.
truck.
Yeah.
So you went to, where did you race in Florida when you was there, or did you just buy it and go back home to Brazil?
Yeah, I just bought the car and brought it back to Brazil.
Did you have tracks back then in Brazil?
Yes, we had some tracks. Yes, I did some racing till 2003. I did some racing. I got a Kyosho MP 7.5 in 2002, the Kanai edition. And then in 2004, I stopped racing. I stopped a little bit of the hobby.
Right.
And in 2011, I came back. I bought new cars, everything, and I'm racing since 2013. I came back to racing.
Yeah. So how's that been since you've been coming back to racing? Because now it's like the scene is good in Brazil, like we was talking earlier. So you guys race a lot, especially in Sao Paulo.
Yes, now it's very good. I started to dedicate myself more to racing and everything, and the results are coming, and it's awesome. It's great.
What classes are you racing there?
Yeah, here I race gas buggy, nitro buggy, truggy, and I race also some e-buggy also, 1/8 scale.
Okay.
In Brazil, we don't have a 10th scale. It's we only have one track where they do the class, but there's only like 5 drivers. So in Brazil, it's practically non-existent, this class, 10th scale, right? Electric.
Good stuff. Have you ever traveled to because I know Henry Winnick travels a lot to, I've met Henry before. I've not met him, but talked to him before. I know he travels a lot to America to race. Have you ever been to America to race yourself?
Yes, this year in February, I went to the DNC.
So we probably passed each other, but didn't know.
Yes, probably, yeah. I talked to JQ a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Was you there with Henry, or was you there on your own?
No, I went on my own. Henrique Winnick, which you were talking about,
yeah.
He didn't go this year to DNC, but he went to Silver State.
That's where I saw him. That's where
year,
I saw him. Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry I missed you then, man. I don't know. I was just Ron. I was watching a lot of racing at DNC. And I had a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
In 2016, we went, lots of Brazilians to Vegas to the World Championship.
Oh, cool. How'd you like that?
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome, man.
Yeah, you guys have the Worlds there in Brazil next year. Exactly where is it? How far away from Sao Paulo is it?
Yes, next year it's going to be in Paraná, which is to the south of Brazil. It's by car from Sao Paulo. It's 600 kilometers.
Okay. That's a long drive. That's about 400 miles.
Yes, but they have an airport in a town near, it's called Cianorte. It's the town where the World Championship is going to be held.
Okay.
And they have a town, it's like 60 kilometers from Cianorte. It's called Maringá, where they have an airport, everything. So I'm going by airplane from Sao Paulo to Maringá. And then we rent a car, and it's like 60 kilometers, much easier.
Yeah, it looks, I think you was telling me about it. Thomas was telling me about it. It's really beautiful where they're having the, it's nice there. He was telling me very relaxed and beautiful scenery and whatnot.
Yes, it's like almost like a rural town, like, and it's a small town. It's calm, and there's many clothing industries for wholesale. There's like 6 or 10 factories, large factories, which manufacture clothing.
Like a Zona Franca.
Not Zona Franca, but it's like it's a city which grew on top of these factories, clothing factories, and they do wholesale operations. So it's like it's a good city. It's many hotels, and it's really nice there.
Yeah, I hopefully will be going there because Brazil is one of the countries that I need to get that I haven't been to in South America that I really want to go, even if it wasn't just for RC. I'd like to visit Brazil. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Last year we had the Brazilian National Championship. It was held in this track in Cianorte, and Adam Drake came to race as a guest, and it was very good.
Yeah, he's been there twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yes.
I know we've been trying to get Joseph to go there. Maybe, he's going to have to go next year for the Worlds. I know I'm going no matter what. I'll be there somehow, some way. So I've never been to a Worlds, so it's time to get to one. And this is pretty close, so I got to go. All right, man. So tell us about your home track there in Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo.
Yes, my home track, it's in Jundiaí. Jundiaí is like it's another city, but it's 50 kilometers from Sao Paulo. So it's almost like the same area. And we have this track there. We run it as a club. We have a series, like a six race series every year. And Davi is the guy who takes care of the track, and he always changing the layout and everything.
Yeah,
it's called GAPC.
Yes, I've seen it online.
Group, yeah,
I've seen it online. Have some nice dirt there too, some nice clay. It's really red and looks like it holds up pretty good. The tracks I've seen there.
Yes, we have some good soil, and Davi now he's doing he's mixing with the dirt. He's mixing sugar water. So it's called melasso. Melasso is like a byproduct of when you make sugar. Melasso is like a honey made of sugar cane.
Yeah, like Sorry, go ahead.
It's called it's almost like molasses, I think. Probably.
Okay.
And he mixes it with water, and he turns the soil, and he mixes with the dirt this molasses with water, and when it dries up, it stays like very hard, and it doesn't break up, and it's no dust.
Yeah.
So now he's making almost all his tracks this way, so it's excellent. The grip is good, everything.
Is it similar to like how the Philippine track was? Does it come out like real dark, look like asphalt?
No. When you look at it, it looks like a normal dirt. Okay. But it gets real hard, like
This because he mixes it with the dirt, right? He doesn't just spray it on top.
No, he makes it. He like 1 meter down, like.
Okay.
It's not only on top. He has to apply it when he's building the track.
Got you. Man, that guy's super talented, man. I've seen so many tracks, like his track for the race in Uruguay when were the Euros?
Last year it was in Uruguay, the South American Championship. Yeah, yes. He made the track. Yeah.
Yeah, and he made a track up in Colombia for Juan Jose Serna's cousin. He did the Bolivia track, Nico Uribe's track for this guy's, man, that guy, people don't understand. I definitely throw him as one of the top track builders in the world that I've seen. So he's good.
For sure. Yeah. And he paints bodies also.
He's
really talented in painting bodies.
I've seen this as well too. Now it's all connected. I just wasn't sure it was all the same person. Awesome. Yeah. He's multi-talented. Very good.
And a really nice guy also,
yeah. So tell me, Eduardo, what do you like most about RC?
I think I like everything about RC. Buying new stuff, trying out new brands. I race mostly Mugen cars, but I always like to buy like a different car to try out. Now I bought a Techno Truggy. Yeah. To see how it goes. It looks like
their truck is good. Their truck is really good. I think if I was to get a Truggy right now, I got a Techno truck for sure.
Yeah, it looks good. And also making new friends and fixing my cars, going racing. I like to race a lot. I think everything is good about this hobby.
Yeah, I think that's one of, I always say I like the people that I meet. I've met so many good people through RC around the world, and I talk to different people daily around the world, and I wouldn't trade that in for anything.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's a great pastime, right?
Yeah, it's an addiction. That's what I call it too, because we always like to get new stuff, and even if it's like a new tool or something, or new washers, we just want it. We got to have something coming in the mail. So that's pretty cool.
For sure.
Tell me something you'd like to see change in RC, something you want to see done differently.
Yes, I think one thing they could start doing is spec tires in 1/8 buggy and Truggy. Yeah. Tires are too expensive here in Brazil, probably also for Americans and Europeans.
Yeah.
I think it's too expensive. And maybe if somebody did more spec tire racing in 1/8 scale, I think would be a good thing for the hobby. More people could afford racing, and it would be also more level, right? Because nowadays you have to have 10 different types of tires to find the right one for the track, and it's
expensive.
Yeah.
I agree. I actually, we talked about this on the podcast, on the other podcast. We talked about this on the rant a few weeks ago. And I had a few people contact me and they're like, "Oh, spec tire racing won't work and it'll kill RC." Well, they're doing it in RCGP and RC2. They do it at the 10 scale worlds. People are just, I think what it is with spec tire, I think people are scared because it takes one big excuse away that every racer uses. And that is, it's the tire. I didn't win because of the tire. So if you have a spec tire, I mean, obviously I'm just saying that because I feel some people, that's one of the biggest excuses. But I'm definitely all for spec tire racing. It helps the regular racer because then you learn setup. It helps the new guy coming into racing so he knows like, oh man, I don't have to spend $2,000 on tires to be competitive, you know? And I think it makes for fun. Yes, we still have to have regular racing where tires, you know, everybody can pick their tires and choose what they want. But definitely a spec tire class would help out. I agree with you there, 100%.
Yes. Here in Brazil, we have a national manufacturer. It's called Syntec.
Mm-hmm.
And he's making tires for GT racing, which I race also.
Yes.
One A-scale GT. And they're pretty good. And now I'm helping him to develop off-road tires here in Brazil for buggy and truggy.
Yeah. Was that a different name before? Because I have a GT here. I'm putting it together. And I know my buddy was getting tires from Brazil. What's it called again? They had a different name before.
We had, this one is called Syntec, but we had also Alpha Tires, which closed, and also Taher.
Taher, yes.
Those are excellent tires. I raced them this last week, and they're awesome. Like, they get better. In the end of the race, they're better than in the start. And they last, like, for 3 races. It's awesome. But this guy, he closed also. This Taher closed also.
I bought a Mugen MGT7 used from my buddy Frank Luzada, and I haven't even driven it yet. I gotta go through it and I got tires. I gotta get a new body for it, and I got a brand new I got a Nova Rossi spec GT engine. I got it from a buddy. I don't know how good it is, but I definitely want to do some GT racing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, my car is also the MGT7. Yeah, it's awesome. It's very good.
Yeah, we had a guy in Ukraine. He races a lot of GT. He converted a JQ car over to it. And then my buddy Will Smith out in NorCal. What's up, Will Smith? He actually got a kit from him, and he's made 2 JQ cars into GT cars. And his cars are pretty nice. So it's a big class. It's a growing class in RC.
Yeah, and in January of next year, they're going to have the IFMER World Championship for GT. I think it's the first time that IFMER does this class, World Championship. It's going to be in Miami in January.
Oh, at Homestead.
Yeah, in Homestead.
Yeah. It's pretty big here. Not as big as it used to. I have a buddy that's really into it, and I went to him for the first time. I went to a race, and I was helping him pit. Man, he had he's like really into it. He had the he had one of those Aerotronics things that can tell you how much you're revving and how much each servo is doing. And I was watching that, and he's like, you know, I thought it was pretty cool. He was showing me all the tricks that he uses. Like, he wants to get 7-minute qualifiers. He wants to, without getting refueled. He's a scientist, man. He's super smart when it comes to this stuff. My buddy Alex Waxman. So good stuff. I like GT. I'm gonna get now. You're kind of encouraging me to get mine fixed and probably go turn some laps when I get some time. Good stuff. All right, man. A couple of more questions here. Who's your favorite driver, dude? Do you have a driver that you root for and you want to see win?
Yeah, probably I would have to say Maifield, probably.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude. Maifield is... He's so... I say this all the time. Maifield used to be so punched, and that's why he had problem finishing races, but now he's backed it down a bit. But I think Maifield is probably one of the best guys I've seen that can make a mistake on the track and then come back from it. Like, he'll make a mistake and then go that 110% to get it back. I think he's awesome. I think he's definitely awesome, and anything he races, he's fast at.
Sure, yeah.
So, you've been to DNC, you've been to the Worlds. Do you have a particular race that you wish to go to, and like a bucket list race?
Yeah, my bucket list was DNC, yeah. So I did it this year. Probably race in Europe, one race, probably the Montpellier race.
Yes, that's a good race.
Yeah.
Very good race. People don't know about it that much, but I've watched it for like 3 years in a row, and the last 2 years it's been such close racing. I like it. It's a crazy track too. It's real European. So, and it's cold there that time of the year, but it's
very cold. Yeah.
That would be a great race to go to. They have some cool tracks in Spain too, and over there in Italy as well. So that's a good race to go to, I would say. All right, man. Well, before we sign off here, do you have anybody you'd like to shout out to? Anybody you'd like to say thanks to? You can say it in English. You can say it in Portuguese. Or
yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my friends Fabian and Marquinhos, who helped me out with the mechanical part. They fix my cars and help me in the track, everything. They helped me get many good wins and titles in the last year. So a shout out to both of them.
Good stuff. And thank you, Eduardo, for coming on, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad I always meet somebody new. I'm meeting more people new by the day. And hopefully I'll see you in Brazil next year.
Yeah, sure. Hope to see you guys here in Cianorte next year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, obrigado. And I think that's, it's kind of, my Portuguese isn't that good. And thank you very much for coming on, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Keenan. Thank you for inviting me, and congratulations on the podcast. I think it's the best one out there, and I don't miss one episode. Very good.
You don't get tired of hearing my voice, man? The last one, 4 hours and 40 minutes. I thought that was really long, but that's all right. Cool, man. And I want to say thank you to Techno RC for bringing us the Grassroots Racer Spotlight. Hey, everybody. Like I said, this week there's no guest. We was planning on publishing the Jason Ashton interview that I done a few weeks ago, but this would have made the podcast too long, so we did not. So we just decided to post up the Nationals recap that Jeff Keaton, Joe Zaier, Joseph, and I done. And I am kind of putting a disclaimer down, anytime we get along with Jeff, and, we're just, it gets a little bit rough sometimes, there's lots of jokes and there's swear words. So it's not that bad. It's not as bad as the rant, but there are a few F-bombs dropped and whatnot. So I understand if you don't want to let young kids listen to this. I fully get that. So it's up to you. I'm just putting the disclaimer here before you guys get into this, because I like to warn people before we do this, because I'm trying not to censor this podcast. I'm trying to keep it as real as possible. So this is rated R, I would say, or PG-13 at least. So before you let your kids listen to it, just be warned. And if you let them listen to it, I mean, it's nothing that I feel that they haven't heard before. So just my disclaimer before you guys get on this. If this ends, if you're not going to listen, I truly understand. But we try to keep it 100 here at the No Name RC podcast. So enjoy the Nats recap. It's pretty funny. We touch on quite a few things. Thank you all for the continued support. Thank you to our sponsors. And enjoy it. Next week, we'll be dropping the Jason Ashton podcast. And we have quite a few guests lined up. So we're going to be busy pushing out podcasts for all of you. Enjoy. Here is the 2019 Raw Fuel National Off-Road Race Recap. Enjoy it, everybody, and thank you for the support. So, hey, everybody, the 2019 Raw Fuel Nationals is over with. Congratulations to Spencer Rivkin. He pretty much dominated this race, I would say. Wouldn't you guys say that? Today with me, we have Joseph Quagran and Jeffrey Keaton, and maybe my good buddy Joe Zaier from Ran Out of Talent podcast will come on if he gets home. What's up, Jeffrey? What's up, Joseph?
Nada, just freaking gotten home, getting ready to sip on a cocktail and bullshit with you for a minute.
Yeah, what's up, Joseph? You just come back from the track, and it rained.
Yes, sir.
And it's
I did.
It's like 1:30 a.m. there, so thank you for...
What track did Joseph go to?
My home track in Finland.
In Finland. You're back in Finland.
Yeah, he's back in Finland. In Finland.
I was going to say, I thought you were still in the Philippines, and I didn't think they were going to let you on that track anymore, because, you pissed them guys off. Because you pissed those people off.
Jesus. Yeah, well, I'm sure I'll be allowed back.
See, you got run out of Philippines, so you had to go back home.
No, I didn't get run out, but I left. I made up my mind before the race already.
All right. We'll tease JQ later.
We'll go with that. Sure. We'll go with that.
So we had the Nationals this weekend. It's one of my favorite races. It was at Thornhill, and where's Thornhill, in Hutto, Texas, or something like that?
Thornhill is it's northeast of Austin, Texas, and Hutto,
yeah, Hutto,
which is home of the hippopotamus.
The hippopotamus.
Everywhere you go, there's hippos.
Really?
Like little statues, ceramic statue hippos.
Okay.
In their yards, all dressed up. Like, that's the thing. Everything's got a fucking hippo in front of it. It's funny. So when we went there for the Nationals a couple years ago, we would stop at all these houses and just randomly go take selfies with hippos.
Yes. So you've been to this track before. You went in 2016.
I've been to one of the pro line races there too.
Okay. All right.
I love that track. It's probably, in my opinion, it is the best track we have in America for 8-scale racing.
Okay, I actually think the facility's great. All right. Well, let's just start off with that. All right, let's start off with the track. I think they did a great job. It looked really good. I like the. Some people might say they don't really like the layout. I thought the layout made for great racing. It wasn't.
Where did you see great racing?
No. Can I finish? It made for high speed racing. Sorry, I should say that. If you did make a mistake, it was hard to come back. But I did like that they actually put that tribute to the full scale. I can't remember the Circuit of America. Sorry, track. It was plywood with some high grip.
That was cool.
I like that. I thought that was different. I think the hardest jump on that hill track was the step up. I saw so many people make mistakes there. And
that's because the face got screwed up and it was hard to hit.
Yeah,
you couldn't hit in the center. Yeah. I thought the layout sucked. Like,
okay,
yeah,
not sucked in the way how it just was trashed kind of thing. But I didn't think the layout. The problem with this style layout at a race like this is it doesn't separate the best from that next tier down.
Exactly.
So everybody can turn 30-second laps on this track. Where if there was a little more challenge to it, maybe a jump section that only the elite drivers could make consistently every time, which could break off a second a lap. So the elite drivers can gain a second there. That next tier is going to be hit or miss, or it's going to be there's nothing that separated the drivers because everybody could run the same line, and then it's just a matter of who could run it consistently the most. So
yeah, I'm not really a fan of these kind of tracks, like super smooth, high grip. Everyone's doing the same thing. It's not the direction we should be going for 8-scale off-road. And if we are, then make the track so technical that people make mistakes, and make it so some guys go inside line because they can't go out in the berm and do some big jump where you have to land within like 3 feet so you can do the next jump, and like make it difficult. If you're gonna make a track that stays smooth and is high bite, don't make it a freeway with 90-degree corners and hairpins and easy doubles that everyone does.
I gotta fucking just shoot me now for agreeing with you, but I agree with you in that same sense. I think, like me personally, I love the traction level. I love that high grip, smooth, fast. But like you said, I think it needed to have an element in there that most people are going to go in too hot and they're going to traction roll and their car's going to flip off the track, or a jump section that is challenging, or just something to separate the drivers. The high speed, the traction, the tire saucing, which we'll get into, and the tire warmer bullshit and all that stuff, like all of that doesn't bother me. It's a non-issue. But I definitely think the track was too easy for the traction compared. Now, on Thornhill's defense, that track typically has never had this much traction. So either they treated it different, they did something different to get that traction level up, because normally this track will get like that, kind of like that tire slick where, you know, it looks like there's a lot of traction, but there's really not. And to my knowledge, they've never run clay tires at Thornhill before.
At 2016, it was smooth, but it was still slick.
Yeah, and then we were on our blue compound, which is our soft compound. There wasn't even a thought of running the clay tires, and even the manufacturers were unprepared for that, because I know J Concepts had to overnight tons of clay compound tires because they didn't expect it to be like that. I think Proline and AKA, I don't know if I don't even think AKA had the right tire there, but the Proline guys, I think everybody was unprepared for that. I don't think anybody expected it, especially with the warm-up race that wasn't too long ago. Like, they were running green and blue compound tires, you know, super soft and soft compound tires. And even then, and it just somehow, some way, they treated the track different. They did something different to bring the traction up, and nobody was prepared for it.
Were they saucing in 2016 there?
Yes, we were saucing then.
Okay.
I know the JC guys were. Yes.
Well, I agree with Joseph. I should say even though it was a fast track, it still made for a lot of mistakes, man. I saw, like, we'll get into that, but there was definitely a lot of hacking and a lot of mistakes being made, even at the upper levels of the race. But like you said, if a track's going to be smooth, like we said, like kind of like DNC. DNC blew out, and it was like too many jumps because it was going to blow out. It was, but this track, you can go crazy, like, because it's not going to blow out. So you can have all these stupid jumps. I think in 2016 that the front straightaway was actually a jump section. So yeah, I definitely think it could have been more technical. So I will agree there.
What's crazy to me, the one thing that I will say, like, the qualifying side is where there was no separation in drivers, right? Everybody can turn 30-second laps. Everybody can turn 31s, you know, all that stuff. Where you did see the separation in drivers on this track was the main. I mean, the pace that those guys were running in the main is ridiculous. And to be able to do that for an hour, like, I have no idea how you can do that and continue running that insane pace, like the way Spencer did. I mean, and if you look at some of the races were going, like, you know, somebody would be up there running with them, and then they would have one wreck, they would drop a half a lap behind, and then they were done. Like, there was just no way that they could catch up. They couldn't keep up with the pace at that point, and within 10 minutes they were being lapped. Yeah. Tessman was a prime example of that. You know, he had a bad wreck, got behind, and he lost the pace, and he couldn't keep up. If you weren't in one of the front runners and be able to stay pacing and running that pace, you were done. Like, you couldn't keep up.
Yeah, I mean, even when Cav got out front, he wasn't running away with it. You know, his car looked very edgy. He didn't look.
Well, you could tell his car really faded.
Yeah, and then
like that 12-minute mark, 15-minute mark, his car started to fade. Yeah. So that to me is a sign of the S-Works car, something like the diffs or something, where that car faded, because he fell off that pace. And then once Spencer passed him, I mean, within 2 laps, Spencer pulled away.
Yeah, he did.
He was gone.
He did.
And then once he lost that pace and he started losing sight of Spencer, you know, next thing you know, he's 12, 15 seconds behind.
Yeah, he kind of just
gone. He's just gone.
I think it's unfortunate that Maifield didn't make it again, but I think he's the only one that probably could have beat Spencer. Maybe if Lutz didn't have I think Lutz had 2 flameouts in the pits, that's what they're saying as well. But I don't know. Maifield and Rivkin and my pick, who can only run 5 minutes, they were the fastest guys in qualifying.
Okay. Let's talk about Dakota for a minute. Come on now.
Yeah, let's
That
talk
guy-
about him for a minute.
let's talk about-
as far as he gets in the mains.
Yeah, let's talk about Dakota for just a minute, because that guy is stupid fast. Like,
Yes.
he's got that TLR figured out. And he's, 3 tracks now? AMS, PMB, the National. Like, he is faster than most, and can TQ any round, any given minute. But why the hell can that guy not run a full main?
So what happened? He flamed out?
He's running OS engines too. Like,
Yeah.
this should be a no-brainer.
I don't know. He kind of didn't he get out to the in front of the main, and then I don't know. He just failed. I don't know.
He ended up running in 4th.
Yeah.
Then he flamed out or something happened.
It's flameouts. Every
What?
single
Who is
main
tuning?
event
Can someone
he has
just
flameouts.
tune his idle for him or something?
I don't get it. Who's tuning
I
his
don't
engines?
either. Like, he has access to the best tuners in the world. You know, as much as I hate giving Drake credit for anything, the dude can tune a fucking motor. Why doesn't he go to Drake and say, yo, tune my motor? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Why doesn't he learn himself? He's a professional.
Something. But why can he not? He flames out every single main event. Like, I just don't understand what's going on with that.
Yeah, you can't blame the Pico anymore or whatever he ran.
Well, so here's my theory. Like, I don't just throw questions out there without a theory or an idea. How about this for a theory? How about there's something wrong with the TLR tanks? And he can run a qualifier, because in a qualifier his tank isn't getting below 3/4. But then the minute you go run a main and it starts dropping below 3/4 of a tank, something happens.
Savoia runs RC Concepts with a TLR tank and finishes races.
And Tyler Jones is running Nova Rossi's, and he.
Yeah.
I think he flamed out.
If
but
RC Concepts and Nova Rossi run for a main, then it's not the tank.
Then it's not the tank. All right. Well, then it's him.
All right.
It's on him. It's been this way for so long. It's just incredible. It blows my mind. All this money being spent, going to all these races, and basically you can just already know before the race that he's not going to finish. Like, shouldn't they do something about that?
Well, how stupid is freaking Lefty over here continuously betting on the guy
hey,
when everybody else on the planet knows he ain't going to finish the race?
hey,
Yeah.
he TQ'd, and I was like, yeah. You saw my meme with Vince McMahon walking out. I was like, Jeff, Joseph, look who's TQ'd.
I was not even worried for a minute.
I was not either.
I was like, this is his race. Like, it's smooth. It's not, I'm like, yeah, like, this is indoors. Man, that's it.
was his race. Like, he actually finished, Or did he flame out sneakily in the
finished.
early minutes and then kind of catch up?
He came second.
I don't think he did.
I don't know, but I'm not betting on Fenn anymore. And Tyler Jones has replaced him as the #1 American TLR 8-scale driver because he finished ahead of him in 6th.
Yeah, Tyler's getting fast.
Yeah. All right. Well, we talked about Cav. Lutz. Let's talk about Lutz real quick. He wasn't.
Hey, how about we try and do this properly? Okay.
We're going through the top 10.
We talked about the track. How about we talk about all the other bullshit and then we really go to the.
All right. Because the other crap is going to take. All right. Let's start with one thing. The first thing that set people off: practice day on Wednesday. With the longest lines I've ever seen in waiting for open practice. First of all,
I got some more haters again.
There shouldn't be. Yeah, well, because you don't explain stuff.
I don't need to explain stuff.
There goes our premium pit spot at Racetime Entertainment Races.
Okay.
Thank you.
First of all, I'm gonna defend Thornhill here. Okay. Now, I wasn't there, so I didn't have to deal with the line, so it's easy for me to sit back as a backseat driver and say, whatever. But in the same token, they've always, in years past, they've done that Wednesday practice, which is controlled by the track. It has nothing to do with Roar.
Okay.
The Wednesday practice has absolutely nothing to do with Roar. That is strictly a way for the tracks to gain a little extra revenue because Roar fucks them so bad and they always lose money on the race.
Mm-hmm.
So that Wednesday practice is a way for them to get an extra $20 a head to get some practice in, right? Now, typically in years past, they've always done it by qualifier. So just like seeding rounds for when Roar does it, everything's by heat, everything like that. That's typically how they done it. You get 2 rounds of practice and no brainer, which to me is the way it should be. But Thornhill was like, hey, let's open it up. We'll do it by 7-minute rounds and just let it run all day. Truggies get so much time. Buggies get so much time. They tried something new, and it didn't work.
No.
Right?
Well, what do you mean tried something new? I went to race in America for the first time in 2003, 2002, whatever. It was the same shit back then. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, really? And back then it was even worse because we used crystals, right? So there were like runaways because people were turning their radios on too early.
66.
It's just, yeah. It's like, what do you mean a new thing? Oh, we tried this new thing. It didn't work. No shit. It doesn't work. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Well,
you have the biggest race, most important race in America. Oh, let's just open the track for practice. Have people stand in line for 7 hours. It's so stupid. Stupid.
I agree. They should have done it by heat.
Yes.
But they did want to, they were trying to get it to where you could get more than just the 2 runs, and it didn't work out.
But it makes it unfair. It's supposed to be about fairness and everybody.
Do you really think like Tessman and Maifield and Drake, they're going to get the same amount of practice as some 12-year-old kid from Idaho who's never been to the Nationals?
Of course not. He's going to wait at the back of the line. Those guys are just going to... They've got people waiting in line for them.
Yeah, they're going to cut the line. They're going to have people in the line for them. It's just bullshit. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I thought that was... I just think at this caliber of race where everybody should be getting the same amount of track time, and they should have just done it by heats. It would have been so much easier. Then people wouldn't have to wait in line, and yeah.
I agree.
So that was a disaster, in my opinion.
But that didn't have anything to do with Roar. Okay. That is a Thornhill decision, and so people want to try and bitch at Roar because of that. It has nothing to do with Roar.
Yeah. Why were people complaining about Roar anyway?
So let's move on to the Roar thing, right? So Roar race. Roar.
Wait, is that retards organizing American races?
No. Roar is everybody's whipping boy.
By the way, that's not. I didn't say that. Someone told me that.
Every single track
Disclaimer.
in America and just about anywhere, others outside of America, all this stuff. Everybody runs by Roar rules. Everybody takes the Roar process and the Roar guidelines and the Roar racing formats and all that shit, and everybody races under that. But yet, they want to use Roar as their whipping boy. Is Roar perfect, or they're far from perfect, right? They do have a lot of issues. They do have a lot of problems. It does take them long, but it's a volunteer organization. Nobody's getting paid. Nobody does this because, they're trying to better the industry or better the hobby or whatever. They get into it for whatever the reasons are. But it is what it is. It's Roar. Every single Roar race, whether it be a regional race, whether it be a national race, every single race creates controversy. And why does it create controversy? Because they actually have rules and they tech for those rules. And nobody in America is used to tech.
I agree with you.
Following rules. And so when they go to this race and it's a little more structured, and it's a little more guided, and there's rules, and they're being teched. And when you don't follow the rules and you get disqualified, everybody starts getting pissed off. It's the race. That's what this race is. If you don't like it or you don't want your car to be teched, don't go to the freaking race. Like, it's that simple. And the problem is it's all sportsman guys and like 15 pro drivers.
Well, I think I agree with you. If Raw isn't paying anybody, then they should pay somebody, because I don't know where the money's going from the Raw membership that they collect, plus what they charge to get. Because obviously, I get this and the 10 scale Nats is their biggest race of the year, the two biggest races.
Well, Roar has their race committee that goes and puts on these races, and Roar pays those guys to go to the race to put on the race, but they don't get paychecks from Roar. They just get their travel paid to go to these races. And then in general, like your region directors and your president, I think the only person that actually gets paid is the administrator. But outside of that, nobody, so the problem is the effort. Nobody's going to make this 8-hour, 10-hour day, 12-hour day job when they're not getting paid for it. It's not going to happen. And it's the same thing with a club track. Why do club tracks struggle so bad? Because they can't get the help, because nobody wants to go out there and spend their precious, valuable time busting their ass to make a club track work, because they don't get anything out of it. And we're in a society now where if I'm not getting something out of it, piss on you. I'm going to go somewhere where I just want to pay my $10 or $15 or $20 to go race. I don't want to put all the work in. And that's the problem with Roar. Nobody wants to put the work in to make it better.
Well, my whole issue with Roar is, I've said this before, is I feel, like you said, the people aren't used to this type of racing because they don't get tech. I mean, they tech at DNC. They tech at Silver State. But not everybody goes to those races. But also, Roar does this once a year. So it's like, okay, we're going to have our biggest races, but we're going to do it on a completely different type of rules that we're not even used to, and that the people coming to it aren't used to it. Because I experienced this last year when I went to the Nationals. Like, a couple people.
Different rules?
Because you don't, like, when you go to bigger races here in America, most of these people go through, there are no rules. Like, there is no tech. Yeah. There's no ladder style racing. That's another thing. People don't really fully understand that either.
The ladder style thing is a huge deal. Like, that's a major thing. But this is what I find so funny about the Roar races, right? Because there's only two types of people that bitch, that complain. Is you got the sportsman driver who's never been to a race like this, and they're just completely out of their league. And honestly, they don't have any business being there in the first place. And then you have the pro driver who's having a shitty race, and they got to blame somebody for having shitty results, i.e. Cole Ogden. Right?
Okay. Before you get into that, I said this. My thing about this, and I've said this before, is that they need to have regional races done exactly like this so people can get used to it.
But again, you can't do it.
Yeah, I know, because nobody's going to go to it.
No, well, not only is nobody going to go to the race, and it'll be a low attendant race, but you can't get enough volunteers
to do it
at the regional level to put on a race. Like, you got to have two people do tech. You got to have, there's just not enough people that's willing to volunteer their time to put on a race like that this requires to do it properly. Well, because now if you look at the regional races now, look at the region race that we just had in Florida a while back. They ran a region race, and I don't even know if they checked for Roar memberships. And they didn't even run it the same way that Roar runs regional races. They ran sportsmen and all these off classes. It wasn't just one class. They didn't even do a tech because they didn't have the people to run tech. So they just said, hey, if someone wants to protest or somebody wants to say someone's cheating, then pony up $20 and we'll protest, and then you can we'll go tech them.
One of the things that I heard from a racer there was in the drivers' meeting, they said everybody has to go tech. So when he took his car to go to tech after his race, the guy said, "Oh, you don't have to come." And it's like, but they said we have to come. And he says, "You're good." And then they ended up DQing him because he didn't get his car teched. You know, and he was like, "Well, what was that?" And another thing, I think, like, let's be realistic.
I think that's bullshit.
No, that's what I was told.
You're talking about it at the Nationals?
Yes, at the Nationals recently.
I think that's bullshit.
I don't know. That's what someone told me.
I know the guys that run that race, and Jeff and his crew and the guys that run tech is the same guys that run it every year, year after year, year after year, and that's not something they're gonna say. They may not tech the car because at some point they do slow down on doing overall tech, but you still have to take your car to tech, set it on the table with your fuel bottle, and then they'll choose to tech it. But then you go corner marshal, and when you come back, your car is underneath the table. And if it's underneath the table, you're good to go. If it's still behind the tech wall, then there's a problem and you just got DQ'd.
Okay.
And it's like that race after race after race. They're not going to just tell someone, nah, don't worry about it. You can just take your shit.
Well,
so whoever told you that is full of shit, because I guarantee you, if they take their car and they set it on table with the fuel bottle, they're either going to tech it fully, and if it passes, it goes underneath the table. If it doesn't, it stays behind the tech. It's just the way it is. And they're not going to change that.
Also, what I saw was a couple of races starting without sufficient turn marshals. This is not just a raw issue, by the way. And Joseph, I'm sure you're going to chime in on this one because this is one of your favorite things to talk about. There's a very easy solution to this. It's so easy. There shouldn't be races, first of all, starting without sufficient turn marshals, no matter what class it is, what level it is at. Like, you know, even if these are the lower, which should happen most of the lower guys. Right. And I think that's what pissed people off a lot too. You know, hey, we're going to be out here turn marshal for these guys, but there's nobody to turn marshal for us. But there's a simple way to do it. And Joseph said this over and over again, over and over. Where's Joseph?
I'm here.
Okay. Like, how do they do it in Europe, Joseph? Just say it one more time so we all know.
Well, qualifying, you marshal after your race, but mains, you provide a marshal.
And then you return the favor. So if you get somebody to marshal,
need you to marshal also.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. But I don't know.
It's easy because you know, like when you drive, you have to have someone marshalling on your number.
Yeah, that's all. And
so there's an incentive to marshal.
I don't even think they had numbers. Like, I think people just went where they went. So that was a big problem. And I think the other issue that got people pissed off was rough driving and not getting called for it. And even while they announced it, it was saying, we're not getting rough calls. And I think that's from lack of manpower. I think they should have 2 referees at this race.
So this is a big topic, right? This whole rough driving thing. And it is... Okay,
hold on. Let's bring in Joe, because he has some... I want to hear you and Joe go at it, because this is going to be funny. He's there. He's available now.
Yeah, this rough driving thing, this one's going to be a hot topic, because...
Let's wait for Joe. Hold on. He's coming in right now, because he was pretty... He talked about this on his podcast.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Joe? How are you? You got Jeffrey and you got Joseph here. And you kind of... Everything's good. We kind of just talking about some of the things that that people were complaining about at the race, and we just got on the whole rough driving situation. So Jeff's gonna say his piece about it right now.
Go for it.
So my take on the rough driving thing, as far as there's 2 sides of it. One, this track layout and the traction level and the pace required to do good is what was causing the rough driving portion of it. So the 2 side is everybody was a little more aggressive because there's a little more at stake. And then you had the roar side of it where they're supposed to somewhat semi-call for rough driving or give warnings or verbal warnings or stop and goes and all that stuff. And it's like that every year, right? But it's the same problem every single year at a roar race. It is impossible. Absolutely, unless you have a referee up there for every single driver watching him go around, there's no way that you can call rough driving for every single driver or every single incident consistently race after race after race. It's just not going to happen.
You're right. You can't call everything, but then why even have the officials there if you're not going to call anything?
That's where I was going. Is Roar's problem is they need to get away from advertising that they're going to call rough driving, because when you advertise we're going to call rough driving, then you expect, if I get screwed or I get hacked, then you expect Roar, well, why didn't you call it? Now the problem is even if I got hacked, right, and Roar calls the dude that took my ass out and says, hey, you need to come in for a stop and go, or you need to give that position back, on this style track, it's still meaningless because you wrecked. You're done. Your qualifier's over. There's no way that you're going to put in a decent run with a mistake or a hack or a wreck or flipping off the track or whatever the case is. It's not going to happen. So the problem is the mentality of the driver knows this, and they're pissed off at that point, and then they start, even if the guy gives the position back, that driver's already pissed off, and they're going to get into each other again. It's going to happen because it's just the way we humans are. Like, calling rough driving is an impossible task unless there's a referee standing behind every single driver calling it. And then the starts, like you saw the starts from the pros down to the Joes. Yeah. Right?
Truggy B name.
And I'll tell you why, my opinion on why there was the starts were exceptionally brutal. And that's because even though it looked cool on the track, and I think it should be done like this more often, but the way how they did their starts in the boxes at an angle, right?
Okay.
We drivers the Europeans can do this because that's how they're used to that. Like, they know how to do it. They know how to pull out. They know how to do all that stuff. But we Americans, we're a little too aggressive. And when you got to go and turn and then you're going into a sweeper, you're done. Like, we're not good enough, and we don't practice that enough over and over and over and over to be able to have consistently good starts with that environment. I guarantee you, if they had the starts where they were straight down the line like they are every single year prior to this, I guarantee you the starts would have been a lot more clean.
No, I don't think that affects it. It definitely didn't affect my favorite incident of the week when Adam Drake cut the track in the truck B main. That was good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how the referee missed that.
Did you see that, Jeff?
I did see that. Yes.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
No call, of course.
Well, Joe, you're RD.
Pretty cool.
You do RD work at your local races. Yeah. You was very vocal about this race on your podcast. We didn't really cover the term marshal thing. We did. Well, Joseph, you said how to do it and how they do it in Europe. What's your opinion on the lack of term marshals at this race?
Okay, so I have an issue with the way they had the program set up. They have 4 Truggy mains back to back to back to back, giving 10-minute breaks between each Truggy main, which, okay, I get it, but you don't have time to make sure there's a marshal at every single corner. And let's say you're number 15, so you go to spot number 15. You're number 12, you go to spot number 12. You don't do that on your qualifier, you miss, you get a lap taken away from your best run. Second time, you're out. It's that simple. And it wasn't just because I paid attention all weekend, because Friday I was doing a job at work I didn't like, so I watched all 2 rounds of qualifying. It happened several times. I watched a little bit of some of the qualifying rounds at the RC track on Saturday, and watched all day Sunday, and there were several races where it's just inexcusable. You get out there in Marshall, if you're up back to back, you find somebody to cover your spot. The end.
Mm-hmm.
And why are they starting a race without the marshal?
They didn't have numbers, did they?
No.
The marshal.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so they don't know who's missing there.
Yeah.
I know in years past,
Mm-hmm.
and because I wasn't there, so I don't know how they did this particular one, but I can only assume it's going to be somewhat uniform to years past. They did go by the cones were numbered,
Mm-hmm.
and you had a corner marshal, whatever your car number you were, that was your corner marshal spot. That's how it was last year at Southside. That's how it was the year before at State Line. So you did have to corner marshal your number.
Right. Every race you go to, there's going to be some schmo thinking he can get it out of marshalling. A lot of times they get away with it. But the fact of the matter is they started qualifiers without marshals, and they started mains without a marshal at the end of that giant step up. That's not cool. That was a high crash area.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if someone wants to bitch about Roar on that side of it, then I completely agree. You know, Roar, the dude up in the driver's stand, that's his job. He's supposed to be looking for the corner marshals. They shouldn't start the race until all corner marshal spots are done. If say I'm car 13 and I'm not at the cone 13, they call my name twice. If I don't show up, I get DQ'd, but they still need to find someone to cover that 13 spot before they start the race.
Yeah. And they had time. Right. They had time. They was not in a rush. Yeah. So
I agree with that. So anybody can bitch at Roar over that side of it. I totally agree.
Can we touch back on the rough driving? Because we actually talked about this a few weeks ago on the Starting Grid podcast that you don't listen to, Jeffrey. But we was talking about.
Well, I figured I was banned from it.
No, of course you can listen to that one.
I'm fucking banned from anything else RCGP, so I've just assumed I'm banned from that too.
I feel. Joseph, are you still here? Because I don't hear you, so I worry if you're still here or not.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm still here for a bit.
I feel that
until he bans me from this.
I feel that if you make a stance as Raw and call some rough driving right off the bat, then people will know what they can and they can get away with. And that's what had to be done right off the bat. When they started seeing some rough driving, like, oh no, stop and go for you. I think I heard 2 or maybe 3 stop and goes the whole week, and I kind of watched this. You know, I'm a freak, so I watched this from the start to finish. You know.
I did too. I watched every single round from race 1 to race 24, whatever it was.
Okay, I don't feel so bad. No,
I didn't miss anything.
But if they set a precedence from the beginning, just like the turn marshals, like Joe's talking about, then there would be less. I mean, but I also understand your point about this track allowing for it's so fast that it's just hard to do. But they need to set a precedence.
It is. It's because so here's the question on rough driving, right? So what is rough driving? Is it a blatant takeout? Is it you're coming up on because the closing level on this track was ridiculous. You're coming up on somebody so freaking quick, and you know, if they're not getting out of the way or they don't follow the same, and there's one racing line, so it's not like there's multiple lanes where you can maneuver. There's one racing line, and you collect somebody up. Now, I did see where there was a couple people that stopped and waited, and they kept going. But you're right. I didn't see the stop and go penalties. I didn't hear them calling those. But again, we can't hear what the ref is saying because we're listening to fucking Mike Garrison and dipshit. So, you know, it's we don't get to hear on live RC who's being warned and who's being called. So we can only assume that it's an issue because there's a few Facebook posts from some people, some sportsman guys, maybe one or two pro drivers that are pissed off because they're just doing shitty anyway. But all in all, like, we don't know how much they're calling or not from the live RC feeds. So how big of an issue was it? Are we making it a bigger issue because of, one or two pro drivers bitching and two or three sportsman guys bitching? Like, to me, I don't think it's as big of a deal as it's been made out to be.
Well, after round one, because I kind of had the same thought as you, like, you can't hear the announcer. You're right about that. So round two, I started looking at pit road, just keeping my eye on it. If there's a camera on it, I'm watching it. And I'm watching one of my buddies' qualifiers extra close. Somebody goes backwards on the track and hits him head on right in front of another group of vehicles. So my guess is somebody saw it. That vehicle that started that whole thing just kept right on going the whole time. That's one example. There were several others. I could go on. But during the main, I saw some splatter shot ones called. It's just, you're right, it's tough to call it, but
I had to laugh.
What you see.
I had to laugh because, again, Tyler Hooks sits there and then he starts complaining on the live feed to Roar. He's like, really, Roar? You're going to call it? Because that little 7-year-old kid, whatever his name is. Little
Bump, that
kid. Mm-hmm. They called him in for a stop and go, right? So Tyler Hooks has to make the smart-ass comment like, really, Roar? You're going to call a 7-year-old in for a stop and go? Well, I mean, a 7-year-old is okay. He can fucking take anybody out, and we can't call him in, but we got to call in, some 40-year-old guy that just fucking railed a guy. I mean, to me, that's part of the problem is that's different strokes for different folks, right? Drake can get away with cutting the track and taking half the field out because he's Adam Drake and he's buddies with everybody on the Roar committee. So
to be fair, he got taken out. To be fair, he got taken out.
So what?
That
if you get taken out, you can take everyone else out? That's how it works?
Well, he didn't take anybody out, but he definitely tried to cut the track.
Come on. True Drake came out in that moment.
It was pretty bad. It was definitely bad.
Like, the real Drake came out and was like, fuck this, I'm just going to kill everybody.
I was
kind of like at PMB when he walked past me and I thought he was going to punch me in the face. Like, he had that kind of anger going on right now. Like, it was awesome.
I was writing on the live RC chat, put a camera on Drake right now. Obviously they didn't, but
yeah, they don't. All right, so
we're going to talk about the live RC thing kind of towards the end because I got a whole bunch of shit to say about that too.
Oh god. So, all right, let's move on to
let's move on to the saucing shit.
The tire warmers and saucing,
game, right?
Yes.
So I get to start this one here.
Okay.
The tire game. All right. This is what cracks me up about this particular race and people in general, right? So because some people, pro drivers, had some tire warmer bullshit and saucing. Oh my God, we're fucking saucing 8-scale tires. And, we're running clay compounds at this particular race. So for me personally, I wish I could have gone to this race now. Because for me, as a nobody racer who doesn't have budgets and has to pay for my shit, I go to this race, I'm going to save me a ton of money. As opposed to last year's Nationals at Southside, when you had to glue up 50 sets of fucking tires because you never knew what tire was going to work 5 minutes before you go on the track. So you tell me what's worse. We have one compound, one tread pattern, and some tire sauce. And you're going to bitch? Like, that's a bad thing? How is that a bad thing? I got no tire. I don't have to sit here and worry about what tire to work. I just have to figure out how much I have to scuff the tire in before I go on the track to make a fast lap. Like, bullshit. And then you want the Cole Ogdens of the world who want to sit here and actively say on Live RC that he doesn't sauce 8-scale tires. I've never sauced 8-scale tires. Bullshit. Like, that dude sauces tires on every track he goes to damn near. Every race time race, every indoor race. Like, that guy is always saucing tires, and he wants to say, because he's pissed at the race because he doesn't have a fast tire, right? He doesn't have, obviously, let's all be honest here, J Concepts had the best tire. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a fast tire. Hot Race didn't make a tire that suited this track. So he was going to be off pace. Like, he knew he couldn't keep up with Spencer and Mayfield and all those guys because he just doesn't have the tire that's capable of doing it. But yet he wants to make it sound like it's a tire game and we're saucing and we got to have tire warmers in order to turn a fast lap. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that one. And I like Cole. Like, you know, Cole and I aren't boys anymore, but I like Cole. I think he's a great guy. But don't go on Live RC and say,
Facebook.
I don't sauce tires. I've never sauced 8-scale tires.
It was on
like,
Facebook.
Bullshit, motherfucker. You do that shit all the time.
Somebody's getting rowdy. What do you...
If he
like,
didn't
that shit
sauce,
pissed
he
me off.
would have made the final.
Well, here's my thing. Saucing isn't like people's like, well, you should ban sauce. That's impossible. You can't ban sauce because people's just gonna do
There's
it anyway.
nothing wrong with sauce.
I don't care about saucing. I don't care about it, to be honest. I don't even care about the tire warmers. I just was like, man, I can see it now. There's gonna be a whole designer, customized tire warmer type of trend going on and all that type of stuff. Hey man, if it works and people do, like, if people are using that, from what I understand, they were using it to bake the sauce in. I get that. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Like, I would, if anybody...
The tire, it's a fad. It's a fad.
Yes.
And the only reason why it's a fad at this particular race is because Tessman made a freaking post about it before, and then Joe has to get in on it.
Yeah.
And then not every single pro there that was in that A main that was going fast was using tire warmers. I can promise you that.
You know who wins? Much more, because I bet you they sold some tire warmers after that. We definitely missed the boat on that, Joseph. We need to make some tire warmers.
I guarantee you those stupid-ass engine braking machines are way more dumber than this tire warmer thing.
Oh, gosh.
And the only reason why the tire warmer thing was a thing is because it was indoors. Like, we don't have that many indoor 8-scale races. If there was sun out and it was outdoors, you're not going to use that shit. That's the only reason. That's the whole thing of them, is that's helping out where the lack of sun on the track is. Like, it's not a big deal.
I don't care about them. I just feel that I missed the boat and we need to do custom tire warmers.
But again, here's the thing. So who loses, right? The pro driver that isn't doing good. It's not because I suck or because I can't keep the pace of everybody else. It's because I don't have a fucking tire warmer. I guarantee you that's why Cole is pissed off, because he didn't have tire warmers, he didn't have the right compound, and he didn't have... I know he's got sauce because he's got every freaking sauce there is, because I've seen it. But, like, he probably didn't have tire warmers, and he didn't have the right compound. So it's not his fault. It's everybody else's fault. It's Roar's fault for running a shitty race, and it's Thornhill's fault for making a track that's too high bite, and he can't, he doesn't have a tire for it. It's everybody else's fault but your own, and that's the problem. You can't accept responsibility. I just suck. Like, look at Joe Bornhorst when we go to Badlands for Fall Brawl, right? Mm-hmm. That's another track that is a J Concepts track. Like, our tire works at that track better than any other brand that there is. And it's just like that. That's just that track, right? Mm-hmm. Joe at least will stand up and say, yeah, Proline shit sucks and I can't win here because I don't have a tire that can compete. But he's not blaming the race. He's not blaming everybody else. He's just saying, yo, my tires suck. Like, I respect that. Just own it. Own the problem. It's not... Hot Race didn't have a tire that was fast. Nothing wrong with saying that. I guarantee you next time there's a race indoors at that facility, Hot Race will have a tire that's designed for it.
Yeah. How about you, Joe? What do you think about it?
Well, it's a clay track with the roof over it. You're saucing, period. Tire warmers, our indoor races that we have for Nitro, in the beginning and the end of the season, it's about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. We moved our beginning race to May, so it wouldn't be 30 degrees Fahrenheit, but it was. We've been having a horrible summer so far in Minnesota. I'm thinking about getting a set of tire warmers just for that, because it makes sense for that condition for qualifying. After a qualifying time, the heat's gone out of your tires from the tire warmers, and it's whatever it is. It'll help you qualify for sure. And we're saucing like crazy. We're using liquid wrench. That's just what you do on any indoor track.
Totally agree.
Well, whether it be a whole shot track or a bar tire track. You sauce like crazy in Omaha. Every indoor. If there's not sun on that track to bake it, you're saucing.
Yep. I agree. And before, we didn't have tire, like, okay, so if I'm at this race and I don't have tire warmers, right? But it looks like the tire warmer deal's working, I'm busting out my heat gun and I'm doing the same exact thing with my damn heat gun.
Right.
And then you get the stupid, this is what was funny. I heard this. This is awesome though. So then you had the guys that were trying to get creative, right? So they were saucing the tires, they were putting them in bags. They were taking them out, putting them in their cars because it's hot as shit outside. The car's freaking 200 degrees. They're putting it inside the car on the dashboard, right? And letting it bake there. The problem with that was not only was it baking the sauce in, but it baked the glue. So then when they went out to go run, the glue the glue started coming apart and all the fucking tires were falling off.
Yeah. Well, at least they tried something, though.
Yeah, I mean, so they were getting creative to try this to mimic the tire warmer thing, but it was a little overkill, and it baked the damn super glue too. So tire starts flying off, and that's the way it is.
How about you, JQ? You've been quiet. We talked about tire warmers on the last podcast.
I mean, I'm not a fan. I guess if you like playing around with tires, then it's awesome for you, but I would prefer not to.
Yeah, but
when it gets to you have to have the right tire or you can't compete, I don't like that.
See, right there, that's a bullshit statement, JQ, because I don't care what track you go to. Indoor, outdoor, RCGP, whatever race.
Outdoor, you can go to an outdoor track and run any brand and probably 3 different treads from those brands and 2-3 different compounds, and you can compete.
No.
Yes, you can.
Okay,
DNC,
wait.
DNC,
there's a difference between
example,
competing.
DNC.
There's a difference between competing and winning. There is always fast tire
you can
at
win.
Any track.
No, there isn't. DNC, there wasn't, for example. Also, previous years,
but
DNC.
see, DNC, that's different because you're not racing. You're just driving around bumps.
Well, this year, it got super rough. But even previous years, DNCs in Arizona, same thing.
Well, lots went out.
You can run impacts, you can run double downs, you can run zips, you can run blockades, you can run whatever that medium pin thing is from Proline, you can run whole shots. There's so many different tires you can run.
And they're all the same, and you're going to turn the same lap times on all those tires.
Yeah, you can win on any of those tires. Yes, you can.
That's bullshit.
No, it's not.
Maybe if you're an average driver, driver, you're right. But I guarantee you, the elite drivers, they know there's a difference between those tread patterns on that track, on any given track. There is a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference, but they can all be a winning tire. But when a track is this way, it doesn't work that way.
Also, after a half hour,
even just between different, on a track like this, on a surface like this, just a similar pattern but a different tire company because of the compounds will make a difference. And it could be a difference where between the elite guys, only one tire brand's guy really has, the chance to win, unless they have an issue.
Yeah.
And I just don't like that. It shouldn't be that way.
I think anymore, I mean, for the most part, all the tire manufacturers have competitive compounds and treads and all that stuff, right? But you're full of shit if you think that you can take any tire, any brand.
I didn't say any tire. You can take multiple compounds and treads from each tire manufacturer, and you can win with them. That's what you can do. You can do that at DNC. You can do that at many European races.
That's different. Yes, I could.
You could have done that at the Worlds.
Whatever's at this particular track, whatever's fast for Proline, J Concepts, Hot Race, AKA, they're all going to have that tire that's equally fast. That's going to turn the same. But you're talking about one company. You can take a Proline tire and 3 or 4 different tread patterns, and you're going to go turn the same lap times. Yes. And you can win with any one of those tires.
Yes.
I say bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit. It's true. You can just look at the drivers. There are drivers in the main who are all fast and they're running different tires from the same tread. If it was a case that one was just so much superior than others, they would all run the same, like they did at this race.
For sure. Well, yeah, I kind of get what JQ's saying. It comes down to driver preference. Like in a main, there will be a lot of us on slide locks, hole shots, reflexes, whatever. But eventually, it comes down to the top 3 are all around the same tire.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
To me, the industry and our cars now, like I think all the cars are competitive. All brands they're all competitive. We are in an environment now where the tires dictate the race. The tires are 75% of car setup and how well your car handles.
Let's put it this way. This sort of race, this sort of surface, this sort of layout, this sort of tire game and sourcing and stuff will kill Nitro 8-scale off-road racing.
See, I disagree. I disagree with that.
It won't disappear, but it will be less popular, and there will be less. There would be less people locally racing it.
Because
for sure. It's happening in other classes too.
If you look at this race at Thornhill, if I'm going there as a consumer and a low-level sponsor driver, if I'm going to that race, I'm going to spend a hell of a lot less on tires at that race than I would have last year at Southside's race. So my tire bill last year's Nationals is going to be ridiculous, $800-900, because I got to buy every tread pattern and every compound because you never know what's going to work because the track's changing so much. The last weekend at Thornhill, you know what you're getting. You know what the track's going to do. It's not changing. It's the same track for everybody.
Well, they didn't know when they started, did they? They didn't even have the right tires with them.
That's right.
If it's like this now, from now on, every time, always, it's the same, like OCRC Raceway, yeah, everyone's sourcing and breaking in tires and all that stuff, but it's consistent, so everyone knows what to do.
Right,
if everyone knows what
even
to
on
do,
the same
then
thing.
I'm
running one set of tires.
Yeah, they didn't know, did they?
Right, but once they figured out that it's going to a clay compound, I'm getting one set of tires, and the more I run them, the better they get. And I'm not having to go up new tires every single race, every single round, and I'm not guessing. I'm not second guessing my shit. I know what works. I know what it's going to do, and it's only going to get better the more I run it. Like, how cheap is that? One set of tires, and I'm good for all 4 rounds of qualifying. Dialed. How is that bad for the industry?
Because it wasn't that way at this race.
Because it was too.
No, it wasn't.
The
Jay
more they
Concept had
ran,
to
the
ship
more they,
tires in because they didn't
because
have the
they
right
didn't
tires,
know
you said.
because they didn't know it was going to be a clay. They had to ship in
Exactly,
clays. But
that's
once
my
they got
point.
all the clays, then we're good. Like everybody's
That's my
good.
point. Joe Blow didn't know it was going to be clay. He didn't have them at this race.
Yeah, but he
That's-
got them.
that's exactly my point.
As long as if Joe Blow, which assuming he's sponsored, because every Joe Blow in the freaking industry is sponsored now. So assuming that Joe Blow went to his designated tire manufacturer and they had decent tire support there, he would have got a set of tires. And he needed one set of tires for all of qualifying. How is that bad? One set. That's all I need is one set of tires, and I'm good.
Will the track be like that next time, though? That's what people don't. That's what I get. What Joseph's saying too. Like,
Probably not, but we're not going to have another Nationals there for however long. Like
Right.
it's going to be years, so we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
We're going to go outdoors at the next Nationals and go back to buying 50 sets of tires because we have no idea what the hell we're going to get. Like a consistent track on this style racing at a major event like this, a consistent track that's the same every single round is not bad. That is a great thing.
I do agree with you. I think I just want to go back to
The problem
pins.
the problem is on this track you have to have the right tire. Okay? There's no
Right. I get
like
that.
you
point
just
too.
have to.
Right.
You can't get.
At DNC, yeah, maybe there's one tire that's the best. But if you don't have that, it's still okay. You'll still basically do the same thing. The difference will be so tiny. But here, on a track like this, everyone's doing the same thing. It's easy. It's high bite. Everyone's sourcing, running clay compounds. It makes a big difference.
But
And
how
that's
is
what-
it bad?
that's
You're
what I'm
saying that
against.
this is bad. You're saying it's
Yes,
bad for the
I
industry.
think it's bad.
How is it bad?
Because you have to have the right shit.
Okay.
He's
so-
saying that at outdoor tracks there's some leeway. Basically, if you don't have, yes, like you said, there's one tire that everybody that's really good.
Okay.
But there might be other tires that are similar where you will still get the same relative
Okay.
lap times.
All right.
The
So
next
let's
race,
take, let's
the
take
next
that
race,
side
if
of
it's
it,
the
right?
same, the next
So
race,
let's-
if it's exactly the same, okay, it's not as bad, but it's still worse than say DNC.
Okay, so let's take it on that same level then. So if you're saying, or we'll even take DNC, right? So if you're taking DNC and you're saying you don't have to necessarily have the tire, just a decent set of tires, and you can go out and compete, right? So which level are you talking about? All level?
Any level,
Pro,
you can win.
Any level, right?
Mayfield can
So-
pick the wrong tire and win. Mayfield can't pick the wrong tire at this track and win. I don't
But
believe that.
there is no wrong tire to pick. Like, you know what you're going to run. Everybody's running the same thing. To me, that's better. Like, that's almost like spec tire racing, because everybody's on the same tire. Everybody's going to manipulate the tires a little different. Maybe different sauces, how they sauce, how they scuff the tire in. Some are going to glue the foam. Some are not going to glue foams. Like, there's different things like that that's going to manipulate the tire a little bit. But how is everybody relatively being on the same tire? And you take Mayfield and Spencer, who clearly were the two elite favorite drivers on this surface, on this track last weekend, right? So two different chassis manufacturers, same tire, who's better? Like, to me, that's fucking awesome. Then
just run control tire then.
That goes to show a little more about a driver and not so much, it'll separate the chassis more than anything else, because it is a tire game. I don't care what track you go to. It is a tire game.
Okay. Well, what are we going to move on to? We've talked about.
And I agree about it should be a controlled tire to begin with. The Roar Nationals on all levels should be controlled tire.
Do you think we should have a Raw Nats A and B like they do in Europe?
No, I think that's stupid.
Okay. I think we should.
I think
Why
they
is that
need to
stupid?
do because all right, even the Euros, right? The Euro Bs, like, who gives a shit? Like, it doesn't matter. I don't.
The people that go give a shit.
The people that go, right? So it's just another race. But there's not this. It shit don't mean anything.
Well, then again, you actually have to qualify to get into the Euros. That's the thing.
Like,
you don't have to do that at Nationals.
The Roar Nationals. Now, the only thing I will give on the Europe side of it is the countries that do like the series to determine a national champion. To me, I think that's the way it should be. I think Roar should do a series, a 3-race series, have a track East, Middle, West Coast, and 3 races. You get to witness the greatest drivers we have in America 3 times, 3 different venues. Who's going to be the best? Like that to me is what determines a national champion. Sure, this one-off race right now, clearly it's going to favor the 10 scale drivers. It's going to. Look at Brock Champlin. That kid is disgusting fast on carpet tracks. And this was his 3rd 8 scale race ever. 3rd one. And the dude is, he could have won.
Yeah, he was doing well.
If he didn't fuck up going into pits and flip and flame out, that kid, he could have competed with Spencer at the end.
Well,
yeah, the fastest lap too.
Yeah, he was impressive.
To
Very
me,
impressive.
that is impressive. And he's a carpet guy, so obviously this track favored
10 scale guys.
The 10 scale guys and their throttle control and their ability to adapt and all the stuff that goes in with the 10 scale stuff, which I freaking hate. But it favored them, and it showed.
Okay.
So.
Well, let's touch on a few things before we probably let's talk about 2 major things that happened. Maifield not making the final again for the 2nd year in a row, and I think one of the things that happened in the race that was very shocking was the second, like the Tessmans messing up on their pit. So let's talk about Maifield first. Clearly, the fastest, one of the fastest, top 3 fastest guys at this race. But he had issues in the semi. I don't know exactly what his issues were. I know you would know more, Jeff. So,
I don't. I haven't talked to. I've been busy. I haven't talked to anybody to know what happened. I know. I know exactly what everybody else says. He flamed out, and then, I heard that his what actually took him out of the race was a center diff locked up.
Okay. Did you have?
So that's what I heard.
Flamed out.
Yeah.
How about you, Joe?
Full throttle on the straight. He kept flaming out. So there was some engine issue that they don't know what it was.
How about you, Joe? You heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. I've heard the joke, so that it was a Reds with an OS head on it.
I'm sure he's gonna get.
I think maybe Reds somehow jinxed him, like they put some spell on him.
Probably.
But did he chunk a radio? That's what I want to know.
I don't think so.
I haven't heard any reports.
But this is his 3rd. Think about it. This is his 3rd Nationals where he's won. 2017, he was probably the fastest guy there. He popped an engine. Last year, he flames out with 40 seconds to go and doesn't make it to the semi. This year, he doesn't make it again. It's not. It's about competition, yes, but let's think how much money he's lost from just those 3 races. That's probably 30 grand right there.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not happy.
Yeah, it's too bad, and that brings me to why we should have an LCQ. And some people don't agree with me on Facebook.
Let's cover Tessman first.
Right.
And you go into your LCQ thing.
Tessman.
So who screwed that one up? Was that a Gord screwed up? I'm assuming that they came into pit and he didn't get him fully fueled and he had to come in again.
From what I was told, that the gun didn't release the fuel or something.
Was he using the stick or the gun?
The stick.
Oh, he's all about the stick.
They even showed them practicing pit stops on Facebook, so it's kind of ironic actually.
The stick is fast, but I've seen it mess up once or twice locally. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it was like the stick's fault, not the... Well, you never know. It seemed to be the stick's fault.
Right. But isn't that something? Issues. Isn't that something else? Like something you're renowned for, and you just messed it up. Like, I mean, he didn't have nothing for Spencer, but he had second. Was he in second? No, he was in third.
No, he was in third.
He had that wrapped up. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. That's racing.
I think he could have gotten up and battled with Cab for that number 2 spot also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was close.
Yeah. Wow.
Especially because Cab's car was fading. It seemed like his car was kind of fading.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed very numb. When Spencer caught up to him and watching the 2 cars in action, Ryan's car looked just numb, like he couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So Gord. So we're all assuming that Gord screwed that one up.
Yeah. Well, whoever. Yeah, I guess so.
So
Leanne or what's her name? The mother. She does the fueling.
Yeah.
So when Ty comes off the driver's stand, is he freaking out on Gord?
I don't think so.
Or is he just like, God, it wasn't meant to be?
I don't know. I know you see he's not cutting his hair. His hair's all long. Is that like a little Justin Bieber look going on now? Tell you, man, he's rebelling.
Well, he's definitely got the poontang going on.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
He's bone plunging somebody.
Yeah, we talked about that on
Ty.
Yeah, we brought up.
So that's why he's fading because.
And I'm assuming
I just didn't think that was going on, but I can see this. I completely understand now. I'm not even confused anymore.
I'm going to say this, and I could be completely off base, and I am not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure there's a reason why he spends so much time at Drake's house.
Oh, see, now we're gonna have
secret room.
We're gonna have to delete that.
We're gonna have to delete
that. You always turn the ass out of it, Jeffrey. You always turn the ass out of it.
If you edit that out, I'm gonna be pissed.
I think we can let it go.
Bottom of the Drake.
Yeah, we can let it go. But okay, so he has something going on.
I don't know. I don't know.
That would explain everything.
I'm just using your theory.
What's the last race he won?
He's definitely got some bone plunging going on. Because, I mean, come on. You're right. The look is coming a little different. Not quite the same focus level. Now you got Gord screwing up. Like, their dynamic is definitely struggling.
Yeah.
And I have my reasonings behind that. Like, I think I know why. And it's not just a bone plunging type of thing, but I think it's the fact that they are genuinely unhappy at X-Ray. And when you're unhappy at your current place, employer, whatever, if you don't like going to work, then it's going to suffer. Like, your work is going to suffer, right?
Why would they be unhappy?
Well, I mean, look at it. It's a known fact that they were shopping around, that they were trying to get out and go somewhere else at the beginning of the year. It didn't work out, so they got stuck at X-Ray again. It's a known fact that Gord and Hootie don't get along. I mean, there's too many things that are well known that would indicate that they're not happy there.
And they didn't like the pillow car last year.
And you're happy with your car and you're happy with your program, you're not shopping around every single month or every single year trying to do something different. Like, you're not doing that.
Yeah. Could be.
All right. Well, let's talk about LCQ, and then we'll go through some of the drivers here, like the top 10 and people that we were surprised about. The Euros have it. The IFMAR has it. Neo had it. And DXR has it. RCGP has it. Well, not in the RCGP section, but in the RC2 section. The LCQ is probably the most.
Because there's not enough drivers to do it in RCGP yet.
Not in the RCGP side.
RCGP is one heat only, just like Formula One,
right?
GP.
I said RC2.
It's a different concept. I know it's hard for you to understand, but
I already got my posts ready for the Italy race. Don't worry. Not that you'll be able to see them because you still have me blocked, but it's all good.
The post for what?
For Italy, for the race. Italy.
For the Italy race.
Okay.
All right. LCQ. Let's start out with Joe. What do you think about LCQs, Joe?
I think they have plenty of a chance in the semis.
No, that's not how it works. Look at Maifield.
Yeah, well,
let him finish, Joseph.
Do better wrenching your shit.
That's not how it works either.
If your car breaks like a piece of plastic, okay, he had something internal go on. That's on him. When you flame out, when you blow a motor, your center diff locks up, you didn't do something. You break an A-arm, that's tough shit. You know, let's say you're going around the hectic traffic that was there, you hit somebody, you break. That's a little different story. But just because Maifield doesn't make it, I mean, everybody else who was in that main, 13 out of 15 of the guys that were in that main belong there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
It would be exciting. It would be exciting. It would be another element. What do you do? LCQ and take 2?
No, you take 1.
1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Or 3 even.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a racing element. So yes, in this particular case, Mayfield got the shitty end of the stick. He didn't make it, and he was probably the only contender for Spencer in the main, right?
Oh, for sure.
But if there was an LCQ for me, and I look at like back at the Worlds and even the DXR race, the LCQ was just another race that these elite drivers, and for me, it's like it's a hack fest. Like those guys, it's as brutal of a race as there can be, and it's fun to watch because they know only the winner gets to move on, and they are going to do whatever they have to do to be that number 1 spot. Mm-hmm. And so it's another element to racing and watching the race and seeing these guys go. And so for me, I like the LCQ. I think it's a good idea. I think it should be a short little
10-minute race.
10 minute, duke it out, just balls out, and may the last car stand freaking win. Because most people, I mean, they're not going to pit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of them that won't pit. They're going to take the chance in 10 minutes. Like, there's a lot of different things. So I like the LCQ.
Joseph?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because we need to have all the best guys in the mains. And yeah, anything can happen in semifinals. So it's a shame if kind of one of the main contenders, like at the Euros, Ongaro was out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what? He crashed, he broke. But the main would have been worse if he hadn't been in it. The fucking fastest guy to have an LCQ.
Yeah, but it's not to say that in the LCQ that he ain't gonna break in the LCQ either. It's still not.
Yeah, but at least you give
another chance.
Whatever freak incident happens in a semifinal, you still have a chance to make the main.
Yeah,
I think there's nothing negative about it.
I agree.
I have my thoughts on this is I forgot about this subject too, but we'll touch on this. In the Euros and IFMAR, the TQ does not go straight through to the final. So it could be a case like Elliot Boots. He TQ'd the 2012 Argentinian Worlds and didn't make the final because he had a servo horn strip.
You know, the only guy really that doesn't really need the LCQ is Dakota Fend. Like, if he TQs and doesn't make the main, it's no big deal, really.
If I know what happened to Dakota during the main.
Because it wouldn't change anything.
He flamed out, man. I crashed and flamed out or something, man. I don't know how. We talked about it earlier. We don't know how he's flaming out with an OS engine. Who's crunching? Is that you, Jeffrey?
Jeff,
that would be me.
Obviously.
I'm fucking hungry, man.
Okay.
All this talking made me hungry. So
I definitely think the LCQ is something that should be added. My question is now, because Raw does it, should TQ go straight through? Does he get a disadvantage from not running the 30-minute semi? Or should, like they kind of do it over at that TSOC race where they actually, one of the only series that I know in America that does ladder style racing, that TQ gets a spot in the main, but he still has to race the semi. So if he breaks in his semi, he still can go, he starts last, for instance, in the main. Because I feel that TQ has to get something besides just getting TQ. So
You're right. TQ does need something.
But then they say,
yeah. So hey, wait. Didn't it work that way that TQ is in the main no matter what, but where he finishes in the semi is basically his starting position.
Right. So even if
he's only racing for starting position.
Right. So even if he broke, if he broke in the semi, he would start last. You know what I mean?
I like that because then you definitely have TQ in the main, so he gets something for TQing. but he has an incentive and he needs to run the semi and do well so that he can start first. He needs to basically win the semi with the fastest time, and then he gets to start first. Yeah, I remember that race. I like that. That's a good rule.
And he gets the experience or the practice of having the 30-minute semi-final as well.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that's something that has to be revisited for both.
That's a really good rule, actually. Someone should make a proposal for IFMAR and EFRA.
There you go, Joseph. Your new mission in life.
Okay, yeah, so I have to do it.
What do you think about that, Joe?
As if he has any time, with all the time he spends on the RCGP. Shit, he doesn't even have time to update his own damn car because he's spending too much time with that shit.
You know what? I'm 30 days off Facebook now, so maybe I can do it.
What did you get banned for, by the way?
Just shared some video. Made a sarcastic. There's no sarcasm filter on Facebook. So, yeah.
So you got 30-day ban?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't feel so bad for being blocked.
Anyway, my phone's going to die, so you can talk about the drivers. All I know is 10 scale guys ruled, and Drake beat Easton. Probably.
Okay, well, wait. Before you go, I want to get one take real quick. The JQ take.
Okay.
Okay. It's no doubt that Lutz is definitely faster, more consistent, and a bigger contender at these races running the Agama car. Do you agree?
Definitely agree.
Okay. Do you think back when we first started this podcast and we were making driver predictions during silly season, we made the comment, will Lutz sell kits? Do you think Lutz is going to be selling kits with his recent success that he's had with the Agama car?
No.
You
just like Cavallari. Just like Cavallari. It takes more than that. They need to build up more than just Ryan's results. Because, I mean, he's been here before. You really have to kind of follow him closely to tell that he's actually doing better now than before. Like, he's won races before and, he's been up there.
But it's clear. It is evident that he is
now.
Faster.
Yes, it's clearly better now.
So if I'm been in the hobby, whatever, followed, racers, kind of have an idea what's going on, but maybe I'm thinking, hey, I think I'm going to change manufacturers this year. Techno Agama. Which one should I run? Lutz is faster. It's obvious.
All right. So would techno guys go switch to Agama?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Do you think they would? Do you think Lutz's success is going to sell kits? I think it will. I think
maybe from techno
right
guys.
Now.
I think maybe from techno guys. Other than that, I don't see it happening yet. I think it takes more time.
I think come around the end of the year when all these sponsorship contracts are up and people will start jumping around again the silly season next year, I'm betting that a lot of people are going to go to Agama. I think a lot of techno guys are going to go to Agama because, Lutz had a big following. Like, I was shocked that more people didn't jump right off the bat, but I think they were. I think they were jumping in like Agama's nothing. Like, nobody knew the car.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what was going on.
I didn't even think they had a new car at that time, to be honest.
Yeah, and so now that they see the car and they see the success that Lutz is having and they're seeing how much faster he is, I bet you that come silly season this year, a lot of techno guys and a lot of even other manufacturers, Mugen guys and all those guys that are 50 off here and 50 off there, I guarantee you a lot of them are going to switch to Agama because Lutz is having the success that he's having.
I think techno guys, I'm not sure about the other manufacturers guys. But if you look at the situation now, Techno signs Tebow. Was that a good move for them or not?
No.
I would say it wasn't really. Like, it hasn't really paid off. When you also have to consider, what Lutz is going to do to them.
Well, I was
like, they lose Lutz, and Lutz goes to a brand that don't have anyone really. So Lutz gets drivers to switch to a brand that doesn't have much sales at all. And a bunch of people are going to switch from Techno. And then Tebow joins. Who does Tebow really bring to Techno? That's the thing.
Yeah, but
does he bring more than what Lutz removes?
No, because Tebow isn't as favored. Like, a lot of people like Tebow because just the Tebow, but he's not a fan favorite. Like,
right.
When you heard, like, you're gonna miss my live RC rant. Like, I'm gonna freak the fuck out on those guys. But when we're sitting
like
there
this
on live
scoring,
RC, and we're, I know they copied RCGP. Was that not bad? Like, hey, I'll give. Well, I won't even say they copied RCGP. They copied RC Racing TV because they have a badass program. But anyway,
well, RC Racing TV, they did what RCGP did for them, so it's really RCGP.
So my point being is Live RC is sitting here following. This was during the truck main. They're following Maifield and Spencer go at it. But you hear the crowd roar, right? You heard it on the live broadcast. You heard the crowd just freak out. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And so I switched over to look at what happened, and that's when Lutz passed. He passed Ty.
That was so annoying when they didn't show the battle.
Right? So he passed Ty for third. The crowd goes wild. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I look over and I see what happened. But is that crowd freaking out like that if Tebow just passed him? No.
You also have to understand, this is Texas. Agama is based in Texas. Lutz is now there a lot. So I'm just saying, definitely Lutz is a fan favorite. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely one of the most, if not the most liked guy in RC. So I think it's gonna happen. Silly season.
I think their team next year is going to be ridiculous. I think they're going to get a big team. They're going to sell a lot of kits. They're going to get a lot of 50 off guys, and a lot of them's going to be your Technos and your Mugen guys. Because the Mugen guys, they don't ever go anywhere, right? They get on the Mugen team. Anybody can get on the Mugen team, but you don't go anywhere. Like, you're there. That's all you get. So a lot of those guys will switch over that feel like they can grow with a brand, and
Joseph,
blah, blah,
how much
blah.
life do you have on your phone? Let's just go through a few of these people real quick. Jared Tebow, 5th.
With a broken hand. I'm kind of impressed by that.
He's got the cast off.
Yeah,
I was expecting the
it's-
Technos to be better at this track. Like, he finished top 5. So
yeah. He's about where I expected him to be. How
about you, Joe?
Do you know if they're still screwing with the new car at Techno, or are they back at the 4.4?
No idea. I haven't heard anything.
I heard that they're still running the new car.
Okay. So the new car was a flop of the worlds.
Yeah.
So if he did that with the new car, it's impressive. And we're all older. Sure, his cast is off, but man, I guarantee that hand hurt like hell after 15 minutes.
That could be true.
I agree.
Sorry, go ahead.
Very impressive. Tyler Jones won PMB, then came here. He was strong all week, and he finished 6th. And I think he had some issues during this race. So
Tyler's becoming one of my fan favorites. Like, that kid he's getting super fast. Now, I would have loved to be in the TLR pits after that qualifier. I think it was the 3rd round when he was clearly faster than Denny, and Denny was holding his ass up and cost him at least 3, maybe 4 positions overall because that dude wouldn't get out of the way. And I know Tyler, he is not one to waste for words. I guarantee you he was freaking the fuck out on him. Oh, it would have been awesome. I would have loved to be in the TLR pits.
Joseph, are you still with us? No, he must be gone. His battery must have died. All right. Well, all right. So,
Like, that's typical. See, this is the problem with JQ,
yeah,
right?
no goodbye.
Typical shit. He knows he's doing a podcast. How hard is it to put your damn phone on charge?
Welcome to
Like,
my life, dude. This is
That dude, he needs. Is he on Adderall?
no.
He needs to be on Adderall.
You know
Like,
what?
He can't focus. He can't do just one thing. He's got he's got issues.
Hey, when you be
Fucking
talking to him, and then he just pick up something and start looking at it. I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
That dude needs some drugs. Like, he seriously needs some drugs
The
because
Gandhi-
he's too all over the place.
The Gandhi calls him USB. He always needs a USB. Okay, Joe Bornhorst finished in 7th. I expected Joe to do better in truck, but I think that 7th's a respectable position for him.
That's about where that's kind of where I expected it.
How about you, Joe?
It's where he finishes.
Yep.
He's good enough to be a paid driver. That's for sure. When's his breakout? Is he going to have a breakout?
I don't know.
Well, I think it's again, they're all elite drivers. Joe is included in that elite driver. You know, he hasn't been doing it nearly as long as Maifield, Cav. So, like, is he on their level? I don't think so.
He's still young, though. He's only like 25.
I think he can go out, and I think he can turn a fast lap. But I don't think he has the mental game that those guys have, which is what it takes at that level. I mean, keep in mind, the pace those guys were running at this race, to do that for an hour takes a ridiculous amount of focus. And, I mean, well, it shows. Like, there is less than 0.9% of the American population that can do that. Like, you can't do it. It's so hard. It is, there's just no way to put in words how great Maifield and Spencer and Cav and those guys are because of their ability to be able to run that type of pace for that long. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Tanner Steves. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe. You had something to say?
Yes. Spencer's standard deviation with pits was 1.4 seconds, probably way lower without pits. Bornhorst was 1.7. That's not bad, but it's a lot over an hour.
Yeah. And when you're dealing on a track like this where to me, this race, a lot of it was one in the pits. Like, when you're dealing with the lap times they are, and if you had a 5-second pit opposed to a 4-second pit, like, you just lost a race.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You know? Yeah, of course. Tanner Steves been making a lot of mains. Will he come out of Ty, Shadow, and X-Ray?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
He just seems to be there, but not advancing any further, if that makes sense. He's making
again.
mains.
I think there's it comes down to team play to some degree. Like, right now, the X-Ray team is all gourd, right? And they do know their shit, and they do know how to set up a car for Ty. But even look at CJ Jellin, right? When CJ was running the X-Ray, the kid was ridiculously fast.
Yes.
He moves to Kyosho. I think the Kyosho is probably still a better car. Maybe not the 10, but I mean, the car was. I was expecting him to be elevated by switching to Kyosho, but he regressed. And why is that? Because he doesn't have a gourd type of mentor to carry him. So, in the X-Ray camp, I mean, Ty is everything. So all the focus is on Ty, and then everybody else is secondary. If you look at the other teams, like even Associated. So Associated, they certainly take care of their own, but I mean, Brock coming up, like, that kid was ridiculous. And he had the same support that Spencer had. He had Saxton on him, and he had TJ on him, and he had anybody and everybody on him because he was showing that he can run with Spencer. So even though Spencer was the man, Brock got special attention. Jackson Brunson gets special attention because he's
up and coming.
For better or for worse, he's ball sucking Spencer, right? And he's in that group. And you got
but he's putting in work though. Jackson's putting in a lot of work.
He is, and that kid is fat. Like, he's getting fat. And see, and this is where I was completely wrong on Jackson, because I just didn't, 6 months ago, I didn't think Jackson had the talent, the overall talent to be able to run with these guys, no matter how much he raced. Well, he's proven me wrong. Like, he is turning fast laps.
He finished 21st.
And he's getting that consistency, and he's getting that. And if ball sucking Spencer was his way to do it and it's working, more power to him. Like, I'm all for it, right? It's all good.
The Ginger Ninja.
Who I think, like, on the AE team, who seems like they were originally getting a lot of that attention, was Cole Tollard. And with Jackson coming up and now Brock, I think Cole is taking the huge, because I think, honestly, I thought Cole Tollard was going to be taking Cav's spot on the team as being the number 2 guy. And I think he just got booted. Like, I think he's...
Brock, man. Where's Brock from?
He's California. He's Northern California.
Okay. Man, he was impressive.
Yeah.
Do you know him much, Joe? You're a big 10 scale guy as well.
I've been watching his results and whatnot. I've never met him, but he's been past 2 years getting ridiculous.
Okay. Number 9, my pick, Dakota Fenn. We ain't gonna talk about that. We already talked about that enough.
Dakota is the 5-minute wonder. Like, I guarantee you, when that dude is banging his wife, it's like 2 minutes he's out.
Oh, see, you always turn the ass out of it.
He's fast for a few minutes, but he can't go the distance.
Hey, if you can get it done in those 2 minutes, I mean,
right. But sometimes she needs a little love. She needs a little extra. She needs a little background. Something to prolong the enjoyment. Okay. And he's not getting that prolonged enjoyment. He's
I don't know what it is in his program. We talked about it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Adam Drake beat Billy Easton. Now, this is impressive. Billy was fast all week. Billy was fast all weekend. Let's be realistic. Billy is like, I don't know. He's proven that as you get older, you get slower. He's still fast. He finished 11th.
I think Billy, from what I heard Billy had the wrong tire choice going into the main.
What tires does he run? Any?
Proline.
Okay.
I heard he had the wrong tire choice, and, this race tire was everything. He didn't think that the clays would last, and he went with something else, and I don't think it worked. But you're right. He was fast everywhere else.
The question is, it's like, you have to almost plan which is going to be good with tread on it, and then what tire is going to be good as a slick after half an hour. Because it was... Spencer had nothing left. I mean, he had a teeny tiny bit left on tires. He had nothing left on those buggy tires.
Yeah, but I mean, from what talking to those guys, I mean, from what I understand, it was slicks was actually faster. Now the car was super hard to drive, but it was actually faster on slicks. And that's like, did you read the Lutz write-up on his tire choice and how he went about it? Like, to me, there's a lot to that. Like, there's a lot in deciding how much tread you want at the end, and is it better to have a slow car in the beginning and a fast car at the end, or a fast car in the beginning and a slow car at the end, or there's a lot to that. But again, these 10 scale guys, which this is what hurt Lutz, he didn't have the experience with running a slick type tire at the end of a race, and those guys do. They know how the car transitions from tread to no tread. And that's experience with that style racing. And Lutz doesn't have it. And so that's what hurt him. Even though Lutz was my pick to win, I seriously thought this was his race.
Okay. Spencer Heckert.
Yeah.
Spencer's like quietly putting in work too, man.
Yeah, Spencer was a surprise to me. I didn't expect him to make a final. Like I didn't see that coming.
Is he up from he's up in the Pennsylvania area or mid
he's that Virginia. I want to say he's kind of like that Virginia area.
I think it's like Pennsylvania, that area. Ohio.
Pennsylvania.
Alex K. I expected more out of him, but he did finish 14th.
I was disappointed in Alex K. He's another one like Cole Tollard.
I thought he was going to take over the spot too.
To me, Alex K. and Cole Tollard haven't, like, they've peaked. And they haven't gotten any faster. They haven't gotten any slower. And they're just there. Like, they're just there.
Okay. Brock Champlin finished 14th, but he should have finished a lot higher. I think he's the most impressive out of everybody this week, as we've said over and over.
Now the problem Brock had was an hour-long main that he's never run. He's never run a main more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So again, like I would have never. I didn't even think he would make the final. But to win this race, like I think he could have given Spencer a run had he not had that one screw up going into pit road, and that was all him. He was just a little too on the gas going into pit road, got a little sideways, fuckered it all up, flamed out, and then he's done. But he still came back, like to have a flame out and then still come up and contend with Ty in that 4th spot, and then he had another flame out, which then killed him. But I mean, even after that pit debacle, he still could have contended with Ty. Like, that to me is impressive.
My question is, will he be fast when it gets to like outdoor off-road racing and stuff like that?
No, I don't. When the track's blown out and nasty, no, of course he's not going to be like he was this weekend. But can he? I think he can. But he's never raced on that kind of surface. Even in 10 scale, like he's never raced. He's a carpet indoor guy.
Okay. Rounding off this was Cole Ogden, but I think he broke and just like dropped out of the race. He should. I was expecting better from Cole, but
Cole defeated himself. Like he knew he didn't have a tire that could compete, and he knew that he wouldn't be a contender, so he took himself out of the race.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Was a little strange to me.
What was that? Sorry, Joe?
Hot race move was a little strange to me when he moved a hot race.
Well, it's just a money thing. It was all money.
Okay. Well, here's some special mentions. Cole Tollard came in 16th. Tanner Denny 17th. Aiden Horn. He's like, it's a family. The Horns, they're from the Ohio area, I think. Do you know him, Joe?
I believe I met the dad a long time ago. I want to say Alan Horn.
Yeah, he races as well, so he's impressive, young guy. Mark Souza,
I've known them for a long time.
Yeah, okay, so it's like a family, right? It's okay. Yeah, they seem like fast guys. They do well at that CRC race because that's like their home track. Mark Souza in 19th, solid. I'm expecting Mark to make some more finals there, but I don't know. Brandon Rose, it was good to see Brandon do well. I know he has a lot of time at this track, so
see, I expected him to do better.
Yeah, you expected him in the main.
Yeah.
Jackson Brunson 21st. I think that's respectful. Jackson made the semis, man. That's good.
That was impressive.
Evan Vale made the semis. That's impressive. CJ
Now, I expected Evan too.
Yeah, okay. I think Evan's a very underestimated East Coast driver. Very underestimated.
His problem is, and the reason why he won't, it will take him a lot longer to progress, because he doesn't have the financial support to travel to all the races. And he doesn't, when you get to his level, and even like Jackson, where Jackson's excelling now is because he's going to every big race there is.
Yep.
10 scale, 8 scale, it doesn't matter. His daddy's flipping the tab for him to go to any race he wants to go to. And because he gets to race with those fast guys on a weekly basis, he's getting faster. Okay. Evan, I think Evan probably has more talent than, say, Jackson does. But because he doesn't get to race with those guys on a weekly basis, he'll never be on their level.
Yeah. CJ Jelen, disappointment there, 23rd. Surprised that he wasn't.
Huge setback.
Yeah.
Even from him going to Kyosho, which huge surprise to me. Like, that kid he is definitely taking a step back. He's got the world's curse, right?
Done well at the Worlds.
Yep.
I think when he...
Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say, I think when his stint with Kyosho's over, he'll come back.
Well, Zach Rogers just retired from Kyosho team manager as well, which I knew was coming.
Retired from RC life. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
It's like he's doing the X-Wallet deal in his family business. He doesn't have time for RC anymore.
He wants to make money. So, you don't go to RC to make money. Only idiots like me do stuff like that. Tom Rendernecht. He's from your neck of the woods, right, Joe? Renderneck?
Maybe. I don't know him.
Okay.
There were some Minnesota guys like Van Dalen finished.
Yes,
he was in a spot to make the broke or something happen.
That's the dude that runs like that
truck body?
Yeah.
Mason Fuller. Yeah. Well, Camden Line. I was impressed with Camden Line. I think he did well. He made the semis. Very impressed with him. Good job to him.
I didn't expect that. I thought that was a huge breakout race for him.
Yes.
And now I would like, if he could back it up at another big race, then I think he's taken a step forward. But if this was just a one-off kind of thing and it just suited his driving style, then it is what it is. But
another shout-out, young kid, Mason Fuller, did very well. And Seth Van Dalen, he did well. Excuse me?
Mason. I was saying that's also Mason's kind of track. They race in Omaha a lot. But, dude, the Fullers, both those brothers, both Caden and Mason, I want to say 7, and he made it to the quarters. That is ridiculously good.
And I'm going to give a shout-out here. I'm going to give a shout-out to Cole Caston, the only sore guy. He finished 38th. He's very talented. And I'm going to... Julian actually finished worse than he did last year.
Julian sucked.
He finished 47. And I'm going to shout out to my buddy, Enzo Albertoni, who's like Kyosho Warrior, Red Samurai all the way. He finished 50th, and Caden Fuller finished behind him. So, a lot of young guys up there, man. It's good to see. A lot of young guys. A lot of them out of the Midwest. As much as I really enjoy these races and I want to see them happen more. I said on my Facebook that the Nationals is the dream shatterer race, because this is where you go and you see where you're really at. Like, there's no classes here and whatnot. So, anything else we want to touch on before we sum this up?
10. Give me a time frame on the live RC thing.
Oh gosh, I'll leave this to you two, because I know this is something. So we're at 1 hour and 50 minutes now. Let's wrap this up by 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
That's it. All right. So here's my take on the live RC feed. So their program this year was probably one of the better ones overall, as far as cameras, actually having a camera guy that followed a car and didn't like bounce around and like not follow the right car and all that stuff. So like their overall production was better. than it has been in the past, in my opinion. I think I like the way how they changed it up and made took the RCGP layout, right, with the popping up the
drivers, faces and stuff.
the driver pictures and all that stuff. I thought that was kind of funny. Good takeoff of RCGP and RC Racing TV. So that was kind of cool. But I got to go into the announcers. So I love Mike Garrison. I think Mike Garrison is a phenomenal announcer.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is a great play-by-play guy. I think he excels when there's an actual race going on and he can announce the race itself, right? Mm-hmm. What drove me absolutely freaking insane is when somebody goes on the live feed and they ask a question, a simple question like, hey, what's the race format? And they don't know that answer. Neither of them. Tyler Hooks, who is his partner, his ride or die, who he annoys me because he thinks he's funny and he's really not. And he says just the stupidest shit a lot of times. But like, this guy has been around for a long time. He's racing in the race and he doesn't know the race format. To me, it like dumbs everything down. When you're the announcer of this race and you're spending time, and all this money and you're doing all this shit and you can't answer simple questions like, how long is a race? The race format. Like, these are things that you should know. And if you don't know, you shouldn't be doing the job.
Makes you miss Charlie.
Who's that?
Well,
Charlie Swanko, he was live at the Live RCS quite a bit. He was
before Aaron Waldron.
Yeah, but him and Scotty did it. I remember when they used to do it together.
Yep.
Like, to me, when you're and I get it. It's hard when there's no racing and you're just trying to fill time, and it's hard to talk about shit for all day. I mean, this shit's going on for 12 hours. Like, I get it. It's hard to keep coming up with material, but there is 1,000 things those guys can do to fill in spots. When the lower mains are going and there's not really kind of any racing going on, man, go out in the damn pits and talk to somebody. Well, you can talk to somebody in the pits while the race is going on.
Yes.
Like you can do stuff like that to where these guys don't have to sound stupid when they can't answer simple questions and they can't come up with somewhat decent content to talk about. So they got to like try and poke fun at each other or try and poke fun at a couple of the pro drivers. And they're only friends with certain selects. So obviously Tyler, he's going to really poke on the techno guys, Joe and Tebow and, those guys, because he's close to them and he knows them. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, like, he has nothing to offer. And I don't understand why they would spend so much money and they have a great opportunity to do a broadcast. And this is where I will give RCGP some credit. Like, I'm not one to give them a whole lot of love, but I'll give them the credit in the fact that they are providing content outside of the racing. And Live RC continues to fail to bring that content. When there's nothing going on, go in the pits, like, go talk to somebody. Even if the driver, like, and half these drivers sound stupid. I mean, get it, but it's better. I would rather listen to a driver sound stupid than the announcers who's supposed to know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm. You want to go, Joe?
I'm pretty close to the same deal. Mike carried him the best he could, but then he was getting sucked in by dumb shit. He really was. Mike wasn't even on his best game because he kind of had to entertain the shit coming out of Hook's mouth. it sucked. Did you guys listen to the qualifier, the Truggy qualifier, where some dude had spoked rims and they went on and on because they don't know how. Tyler doesn't know how to talk. He does, so he spoke rims for 5 minutes, and then every time a Van Dalen would come on the track, he wouldn't shut the hell up about farm truck body.
Right.
There's a reason for it. It's not just for looks. I wrote in the chat what it is about, and Mike goes, "Oh, it's for this," and Tyler's like, "Whatever." So,
because that's the problem with Hooks is, and that's why him and I clash so much, because he disagrees with everything I say, because that's the cool thing to do, right? Oh, Jeff's going on a fucking tent, so I'm going to be a complete opposite of him. Even though I'm right in what I'm saying, he can't agree with me simply because then it comes into he's a pro line guy and I'm a JC guy, and it turns into this little turf war battle thing. And because I went off on one of his buddies a year ago, he doesn't like me because, of that. So, it's he if you're going to be an announcer, whether you like someone, like take Scotty, right?
You have to be
Scotty,
unbiased.
I guarantee you Scotty does not like a lot of people. Like Scotty hates a lot of guys. Yeah. And he knows who the prima donnas are and he knows who the bitchers are, but that dude will treat everybody the same regardless of his feelings. And if you're an announcer, and I tell all these announcers that are coming up and coming down, and even like Lance McDonald, right? That was his biggest problem as an announcer, is because he showed favoritism to everybody else. And you can't do that. Jimmy Babcock is another good one. Like I know the people that dude don't like, but he will treat that dude the same as he does his favorites. And that's what you have to do. And whether you're calling the race itself or you're calling the race on Live RC, you gotta treat everybody the same, and you gotta know the program.
Yeah,
like the simple shit. You gotta know it, and if you don't do it.
Well,
find somebody else.
Well,
I don't think Brandon really cares about that side of his business anymore.
Well,
he's doing big car racing. He's making his nut off a lifetime, which I've used it. It is now the best program out there. It's so user friendly. It's so nice. It doesn't cost $1,000. It costs a monthly fee. So if you're doing a series that runs once a month during the summer, you pay for 6 months and then you shut it off in the winter and let your computer sit.
Yeah.
So I don't think he cares much about the Live RC side anymore.
Well, it's all right. Go ahead, Jeff, one more time.
But even on that side of it, and I agree with you. I don't think the RC side is. It's certainly not making him any money now. I mean, I'm pretty sure he probably loses a little bit of money or whatever, but I would think it would still filter over into the MX racing and the real car stuff if they're streaming that shit live and they have shitty announcers there. Like, it's still a bad program. I don't care what format of racing you got. If your announcers suck, like, it brings the whole thing down.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not banging Mike Garrison is amazing at play-by-play. That guy can call a race like no one else. He makes it interesting. He makes it fun. He gets you into it. He draws you in. Like, everything about it, his play-by-play is awesome. But he is so unknowledgeable about the actual stuff that goes on in racing that it freaks me out. And he's been in this a long time. Like, he should know the simple stuff.
He needs to have a stats guy. It's fun. Okay. Now, go ahead, because I'm going to finish it up on my spiel.
I was going to say, I don't know if you guys watch mixed martial arts, but it's like you have Joe Rogan, John Anik, and DC, and they all have a specific job. Joe's the color, DC's calling out play-by-play, and Anik is calling out stats, and it works well.
Yes. I agree. You needed it.
Yeah,
and the other simple thing, like this was another big thing that separates RC racing TV to live RC. And this is just such a simple thing. On RC racing TV, when they're sitting there talking about a specific driver, right? So they're going to be, whoever's racing, Ongaro's racing. I got to get this right, otherwise, freaking Facebook haters are going to blow my nuts off again. So he's racing, and if the camera guy isn't following him, they're telling the camera guy where he's at so he can follow him, so that you're looking at the dude that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Why can't Live RC do that? Like, how hard is it for Mike or Tyler to sit there and say, yo, 2 cars back is Tebow. Let's follow him around the track and we'll talk about Tebow for a minute. Drop 4 cars back and that's Bornhorst. Let's talk about Bornhorst for a minute. Yeah. But they don't, their communication to the camera guy, like, I'm assuming the camera guy can hear him. Like, that's an assumption. I don't know. I've never done it, but something that simple, you would think, hey, camera dude, I'm talking about this driver. Why don't you follow him on the track? Here's where he's at.
Okay. I'm thankful that we actually had coverage. I will say this. It didn't drop, which was good. So they had good internet and it didn't go through. They had multiple cameras. I really enjoyed the pit lane camera. My biggest thing is, I think Tyler's kind of new to this too. I'm not sure. He hasn't done it as much. You can't race and do this at the same time, number one. So
that's why he did so shitty at the race.
You can't do that.
It's a totally different mind.
Right. So you can't focus on either of this really good. So it's either you're going to race or you're going to be an announcer. I get it. You want to race, so you race. Mike needed a stats guy.
Have a little. Yeah.
He needed that guy to fill in.
Be a little. Sorry.
Go ahead.
You're cutting out. I don't know if it's me or you.
It's you, because you're cutting out on my side.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I was going to say, Tyler needs to be a little humble. He writes a little bit for Live RC, but he shouldn't want to get his feet wet with Live. Announce a few local regional things, and then work your way up to Live RC.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
well. Tyler's problem is he's got too much favoritism. That dude, if you're not in his clique and you're not on his good side, then he won't give you the time of day. He won't talk about you. Like if I guarantee you, and this wouldn't happen, but if I was at that race and I was actually leading a qualifier, that dude would talk about the weather before he would say, "Yo, Jeff Keen's, winning the heat."
I thought you guys were cool, but I guess not.
Nah, he don't like me.
All right. Well, I just feel it's funny because I actually talked to Brendan today from Live RC. He hit me up after I asked about the overall results, and we got to talking. And he's actually going to come on this podcast, which is pretty cool. And he
not anymore.
Yeah, I asked him. I'm not back. Look, I told him. I said, look, I just think. I told him, I said, I think you needed to have a stats guy with Mike who could bring up those quick stats, who knew about that and all that type of stuff, or somebody that could just answer the questions. Because I get it, Mike's probably also focused on calling the race. I think Tyler, this is what I missed from this race. I really like the pit walks and stuff, and I think Tyler actually does a good job at that. He can go around and interview people. And talk
I think he does good at the interviews. I agree with you.
And I think that's where I really wanted to see that. But then, I understand where Benny says, man, I have to work. It's about budget, and I have to work within budget. And I get that. I just think they needed that. They needed a stats guy with him. Tyler could have done his interviews, and it would have took less of his time. He could have focused more on racing as well. And he could have just went around. He could have did a pit walk. And just took a camera guy, hey, talk. That's what I like to see. He could have walked around to all the different pits, stuff like that. And I think he does a really good job of interviewing people. And just maybe, people can talk a lot of crap about Waldron. Yes, his voice irritated me. Some of the stuff he said would get on your nerves. But Waldron could talk for the entire time that he was on air.
And he knew
Yeah.
The simple stuff. He knew the simple answers. The race format. Like I just can't get over that one.
Yeah.
I can't let that one go. Like, hey, what is the race format? Oh, I don't know.
But
how do you not?
I don't know.
I can't let it go.
We had coverage. It definitely didn't drop. At one point, I was monitoring all different Facebook, YouTube, and the live RC coverage at one time during the mains. I actually talked to Brandon. He said RC's his passion. He loves it. It's not going anywhere. So, but I understand that you have to work within a budget that you have. And
yeah, but to me, that's a cop out. I guarantee you, if Brandon would have put it out, somehow, some way, and put it out, said, "Hey, we're looking for somebody to back up Mike Garrison. I can't pay you a fucking dime. Maybe I can buy you dinner, or you can split a hotel with the camera guy that he's already paying for." I guarantee you, somebody that knew their shit about this hobby would have volunteered. I guarantee you 5 people would have volunteered to do that.
You know who did sound good with Mike Garrison was Camden Line.
Yeah.
And he came on briefly for a little bit. But I mean, I just think I'm just happy we had coverage. I did enjoy it. I watched it from Thursday when they started. Did they start Thursday or Friday? Yeah, Thursday. Right up until Sunday. It didn't drop. I've been a little bit spoiled with RC Racing TV. I just want to see it get better, and it can be better. And I just think everybody has to play to their strengths. Like you said, Garrison, play-by-play. Tyler, interview type of guy. Not a need to just get that one guy in there who's like a plethora of knowledge when it comes to RC, and this can help fill in that blank spot.
And isn't afraid. And here's the other part of that. Isn't afraid to call. You don't have to be a dick. You don't have to be vindictive. You don't have to be anything, but isn't afraid to call a spade a spade. Like if a pro driver, just like the Drake thing, right? If it's on camera and Drake just jumps the track and takes out half the field, like that's something that should be talked about. Mm-hmm. That should be like, whoa, what the hell is Drake doing?
Yeah.
And pointing it out.
Was, whoa, hey, what's going on? That's all they did was just, whoa, hey, well, what, well, yeah.
Yeah, and then be
said,
like, have the nuts to sit there and say, yo, let's follow Drake because obviously he's pissed off and he's going to be taking more people out. Let's get this shit on camera. But they won't do that because live RC as a whole is very favoritism to their sponsors and to the elite and to their homeboys and all that stuff. Like you can't do that. You got to have someone in there that's not afraid to call out, not even call out. I don't want to use that, but state the obvious. Just say what happened. Like there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean,
no, that's
but they won't do that. They won't. And Brandon is the first one. I mean, even if you look at Live RC, the website, and their news feeds and stuff, they would never, ever say something remotely negative towards anybody outside of, Aaron Waldron.
I was shocked when they posted the Humpty stuff and the Tossolini stuff.
I was shocked over that one too. I didn't think that's.
Well,
yeah, I thought it was going to be a outside word of mouth deal.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm like just happy that I got to see it, and I'm sure.
Yeah, but I agree. I know where you're going with that, and I get it. And yes, it is nice, but it's like you said. I guarantee you, the RC Racing TV guys. Like, they don't have a problem calling. Look at what they call the sportsman drivers. Like, when some dude's out there driving like a dumbass, they're saying, yo, look at this. And they're freaking awesome.
Scouted cockroaches, he is.
Yeah, like that to me is freaking awesome. That's why I watch that shit, is because I want to listen to their stupid-ass accent and the words that they come up to describe some fool acting like a dumbass. Like, that's awesome to me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think, like I said, everybody played to their strengths. the statistician guy to join Mike because he does a good job. Tyler doing interviews, which like I just like the pit walks, man. I would have loved to have seen like take a camera out and just go. And I get that requires editing and all that type of stuff too. But man, I'm all about making RC cool. I'm all about making RC fun and accessible to everybody. So,
but also
the thing about it,
it builds their brand.
It does.
Yeah.
And this race, out of all the races that they are going to cover throughout the year, all of them, the Fuel Off-Road 8-Scale Nationals always, even over the 10-Scale Nationals, this race produces more drama than any other race in the U.S. And it is their opportunity to expose and bring out and make that drama part of what it is. And they refuse to do it. And even at the 10-Scale Nationals, like, there's still a lot of drama at the 10-Scale Nationals, too, every year. Like, people would get hot. Last year at the 10-Scale Nats, when Mayfield is freaking out on some dude all the way across the track, you know? Like, that's some shit that I, as a viewer, I want to know, like, why is Mayfield freaking out on this dude, right? You know, that's, you know, when Mayfield didn't make the final, when he finally pulls his car off in the semis, why isn't Tyler on his ass being like, yo, Mayfield, what the hell's up?
Yeah, I don't think that would have Mayfield.
Like,
Mayfield wouldn't have talked to him at all.
That's all I want to know at that point. Oh my God, the dude that's going to win the Nationals just broke, and he's walking off the driver's stand. Like, who gives a shit about the race now? I want to know what the hell happened.
I don't think anybody would want to talk to Mayfield at that point in time.
Dude, I would stick a camera in his face so fast you wouldn't be able to. I mean, I would be on top of that shit.
It's a shame though. Wow. But hey, at least we had coverage. That's all that matters at the end of the day. But it can always be better.
We were gonna have coverage. We didn't know we were going to have coverage up until maybe a week or so before.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened with that, and I thank whoever.
You can thank Alex Morel.
I was about to say that. I was about to say thank you, RC Pro Fuels, because I know you guys sponsored that. So thank you guys. I appreciate that.
If it wasn't for RC Pro Fuels, we'd probably either, if we did have coverage, we'd probably have to pay for it, which would have sucked, and I wouldn't have paid for it.
I wouldn't either.
But so yeah, a huge shout out to RC Pro Fuels and Alex Morel and even AKA. I think AKA ponied up and paid some shit. So, you know, those two guys, like, rock on.
And you know what? And I'm gonna say thank you to Live RC for bringing it to us, because they didn't. You know, it takes a lot of work to be up there for 16 hours a day, doing that. And
okay. But on the same token, they're getting paid. This is their job. So, you know, do I think it's just like it's like the race directors, right? They get paid to go. Jimmy Babcock. Do I really need to thank Jimmy Babcock for going to a race and doing his fucking job? Like, should I have to thank him for that, or should I just expect that he's going to go to this race that he's getting paid good money to go do and actually do his job?
And I thought Joseph had a heart of ice. You're like the ice man yourself.
But I'm serious.
I get it.
So yeah, okay. Thanks, Live RC, for providing content that you're getting paid to provide.
I get it.
I've sat in the booth for 12 to 14 hours a day several times. It's not bad at all. Don't let those guys try to tell you shit. The worst thing that happens is you lose your voice, and then there's ways around that.
Yeah. Well, hey, 2019 Raw Nats is over. We have the Euros coming up soon. Nobody won the skateboard deck that I had on the.
Well, yeah, because Mayfield broke.
So yeah, I did a giveaway
You should drop it to the Truggy one.
Well,
otherwise you're never gonna get rid of that thing.
No, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a giveaway for the Euros. I'm gonna give it away for the Euros, but I'm gonna let people wait until the actual semis and everything. I'll wait till the mains are posted so people can make a pick. And
All right, well, I'll go ahead and pick mine. So I'm going to say Ungaro's going to win, Ronald Folk's second, and Battier is going to be third.
And Battier won this weekend, too. And Ungaro messed up, so. All right. All right, well.
I don't know. I think so there.
Anything to add before we sign off? This is going to be like a 6-hour podcast. I know it.
No.
I'm sure I could go on.
To Spencer Rivkin.
Yes, congratulations to Spencer. I hope we can get him on the podcast. I did congratulate him yesterday. I've been trying to get him on for a while. Congratulations to everybody that participated, man. This is a hard race, and we need more of them, though. We definitely need more of them.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, anything you want to add?
What?
Yeah, anything you want to add, Jeff?
Shout out to J Concepts for making the best tire at the event.
And shout out, I'm going to say this, and shout out to our JQ team that went there. They did pretty good. How about you, Joe?
Shout out much more for their wonderful tire warmers.
Yes.
Yeah, got to have those. Hey, okay, wait, one more thing. One more. Okay, so Alex Morel, which I love this dude, like, you know, Indy RC, RC Pro Fuel, like Alex Morel, that dude's awesome. So in his wrap-up Roar Nats post, he posted earlier today, he had all the hits, right? And then in the miss part, and maybe a lot of people didn't catch this, but in the miss part or the shitty part or the not so good part, kind of towards the end of his little thing, he had Adam Drake break-in engines. What the hell is that about? Is he calling Adam Drake out saying that his engine break-in service sucks? Because that's how I read it.
No, I think
or is he saying that the Adam Drake break-in engines as a whole sucked at this race and they were flaming out?
I think somebody said something and he was like, yeah, Mayfield's engine was fine, but Drake's engine was suffering in his main. I think I read that in his comments underneath there. So I don't know.
Oh, to me, it was a bang on Adam Drake's engine break-in process.
Well, Joe, you just got 2 engines done by Adam Drake, and you're more than happy. One, and you're happy with it.
I'm happy so far. It still needs to drop the second nut.
That's because they didn't break it in.
Yeah. It made it so it's raceable immediately at the track, but it's not all the way. I say it comes to you 50 to 75% broken in. The hard break-in's over. I did it because I had absolutely no time.
Okay.
I'm at the gym 6 days a week.
Yes, you are. Getting concussions and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, something's got to take some kind of abuse.
You're insane. He's into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu big time, Jeff. So
okay, well, remind me to stay away from him and not piss him off.
No, I said on my podcast that if I were at the Roar Nats, I probably would have used my jiu-jitsu the first time in anger. No, I don't use it in anger. That's not fair. So, anyways.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jeff, for coming on. Joe, thank you for coming on. I know you rushed him to get on her. Everybody, please go check out Joe's podcast, Ran Out of Talent. His Nats recap is pretty savage, but that's Joe. He's savage.
Hey, my podcast is ranked number 95 in Lithuania. We're growing.
How do you see rankings of podcasts? I got to talk to you after that.
Eden just showed me something.
Yeah.
I'll have to send it to you after this.
All right. Cool. Hey, Jeff, thank you for your time. Now I think we definitely are breaking the record for the longest podcast ever. And, hey, I don't know what to say. I'll talk to you guys. Hey, thank you thank you everybody for joining on. Thank you to our sponsors, Bipolar Designs, BK Servers, FastRaceShop.com, Assault RC, Techno RC. Thank you to all the listeners that tune in. I appreciate it. We can't do it without you. Thank you to all the Patreon guys. I am going to do a giveaway for the car stand for the guys who did enter and put their... It's not going to be the skateboard deck, but I know kind of Maifield messed everybody's pickup. So I'm going to do a spin the wheel for a car stand. And we are going to give the deck away at the Euros because I want people to pay attention to the Euros too. So, all right.
Like that shit matters.
It does. It's great racing. Good racing.
Freaking European guys. Jesus Christ. Who cares about that?
Fastest guys in RC. Fastest guys in 8 scale. Hey, what's the one? Oh, yeah. Remember, if you ain't...
Come on, you're trying to come up with shit. Just end the damn podcast.
Yeah, if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. And remember, Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. And if you ain't having fun, it don't make sense. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/The Quay Grain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, Nitro is the glory.